news.
I have some important news for you.
Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
Cayman's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Good morning, Sandy.
Hey, good morning, Blake. How are you?
And Aaron.
And Aaron. Jeez. Listen, it took me a month to get out of the habit, and gosh darn it.
You can see her right there on
Looks
the
like-
screen.
I
There
know.
she is. She's right.
Looks
She's
like
right.
it's going to take me another.
It's
Looks like
right-
it's going to take me another
right
month
there.
to just
Yeah.
get over it.
I left you
Hey,
like,
Aaron.
good morning, Blake and Aaron. Oh, Aaron's not. Now I'm back.
I squish your
Now
head.
you're.
All right. What do you got for us? What do you have for us on a Monday morning?
So, do you guys remember that fire that took place last week, Wednesday in Prospect? It was a vehicular fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Vaguely.
it was quite massive. I mean, the smoke plumes were like, oh my gosh, in the air. People actually thought it was a much larger structure. Well, as it turns out, it was one of those illegal garages, and surrounding it were a lot of dangerous materials, gas tanks, like 55 gallon.
So what's an
this
illegal
could have-
garage, by the way?
Sorry?
What's an illegal garage?
Where
Like
people
a-
just fix homes in their yards without any lawful permission to do so.
Fix cars.
And so, they're dealing with hazardous waste illegally and unlawfully and don't care about the environment. So this is one of those situations where they're siphoning gas from one of those big tanks to a car, or the truck that you saw explode. And that exploded. And in fact, it turns out that much more could have exploded.
Wow.
So OFREG is now investigating this situation with a view to hopefully finding this individual. I think this sort of thing should be taken very, very seriously. And there's now an abatement order from DEH, and everybody's now on it. So we're going to be discussing this a little bit later on this morning, because it seems like this was something that had been complained about for some time and nothing was done. I'm going to show you a picture since you hadn't seen it.
Wow.
Yes, it was massive. So we've got some footage and stuff that we'll share with our viewers a little bit later on. But
That's a big
so
fire.
that is under investigation by the authorities. A robber has striked in the district of Prospect, literally striking a woman in her face,
Wow.
requiring hospitalization, not requiring a hospital visit. She was able to get it tended to and then left. But we understand that she's still all bruised up this week, and it was an attempted robbery. She had pulled into her driveway and was just sitting in the car, and the robber decided to strike at that moment. And of course, she wasn't really thinking that was going to happen, but she fought him off, and she did get some injuries to her face. So we're wishing her a speedy recovery, and hopefully the police can nab this guy.
Wow.
Pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if we should be saying happy anniversary, but we're remembering Hurricane Ivan today. So
Mhm.
those of you who were on island 18 years ago, you'll know that forever and ever, that storm will no doubt be embedded in part of our historical documents. It was a massive hurricane that hit some 18 years ago.
crazy.
I was here. Were you here, Blake?
I wasn't here yet. No.
Okay. Aaron, were you here?
Yeah,
My
no.
wife was. My wife
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. and
So
she's
it was pretty massive. It kind of started on the 11th and went on over into the 12th of
Mhm.
September in 2004, causing some $2.86 billion in damage,
Wow.
with 95% of all of the buildings in the Cayman Islands having some degree of damage. Some were completely
wild?
decimated, and others, were extensive. But
Yeah, you can
look
still
at us!
see.
Look at us now.
You still see buildings from.
Yes,
in
and a lot of
different
people don't know that that's what it's from. I think.
Right.
They
Yeah.
just think, oh, that building just hasn't been taken care of. It's like, nope, those people were not able to rebuild.
Oh, well, I mean, we've been here for 12 years. And when we first moved here, all the trees were still a lot lower, like especially around the dump area, and now we haven't had anything bad like that. So they've been able to grow back. But yeah, there is less and less of stuff that you can see, but a lot still around.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, when I looked back, I was looking through some of the pictures last night as we were putting the story up, and I was like, oh my gosh, quite a trip down memory lane. So the director of the National Roads Authority was on the program on Thursday, and he was talking about the possibility, want to stress that, of flyovers being something that could be considered for the Grand Harbor area. So the NRA has undertaken a assessment. It's a study in whether or not what their options are for allowing pedestrians to safely cross that area. And so this will be released in the coming weeks, probably about 6 to 8 weeks. Mr. Edward Howard has shared that we'll have that information in the public realm for further public discourse and feedback. But he did say that pretty much every single solution comes with a compromise of some sort. And it really becomes a question of, what we're willing to compromise. The overpass is not going to be cheap. And it's going to be something that will take probably around 5 years to construct, because then you've got to find a way to deal with the flow of traffic, because that's a main thoroughway, right? You can't just say, go and take another way to get east. There's no other way.
Talking about the Hurley's roundabout?
Hurley's roundabout, that's right. Yeah.
So just a walkway from there over.
I mean, it is. My wife and I lived there in Grand Harbor off that circle. And we call it Suicide Circle. That's what we call it. That's what we nicknamed it. My suggestion would be to put in a stoplight for that roundabout like they do in the UK and allow flows of traffic for periods of time without interruption.
Well, they have one already over on South Sound that feeds into it.
I just don't see how a flyover is going to fly
over
literally
in that area. You got that huge development right there on the water. What's it called? I forget what that was. Not the
There's
Tide.
so many in there now. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't even know.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The last thing somebody wants to see is an overpass, in front of their balcony.
Yeah, it would definitely change the aesthetics of the area.
But if you live there, it would be nice for you to be able to just walk over to go.
And then blocking the view of the water. I can walk to the shops without going through the circle.
You can, but I'm talking about from the other side of the road, because, I mean, that's definitely suicide trying to cross that road. Build a tunnel.
How about a tunnel for a walkway tunnel?
How about we all get flying cars and everyone can walk under us?
You mean a flyover for pedestrians or for cars?
It would actually be, I believe, for pedestrians, because for cars is a whole other
okay,
cup of tea.
Cars.
I mean, he did say that, it's costly to build. It would take away 2 of the lanes for the actual physical structure to go down. And there's a lot to it. People always throw these things out there.
So
very, very willy-nilly. But I think that
pedestrian bridge would be great.
But you got to figure out what. But wait, it would take away 2 lanes. I think we're on Bobo right now.
Yeah, because Hey, welcome to Bobo.
Hey.
You've got to be. In order to build the structure, you need. They're like 30-foot pilings that would have to go into the ground, basically. So, in order to do that, you'd lose 2 of the 6 lanes, which kind of probably defeats the purpose, really. But the alternative is a traffic light. I think that's one of the things that's on there. And the concern there is that really would stop traffic, and they need to examine how much that would impede traffic. And then, of course, a crosswalk in that area is just super dangerous. So I think that's the lesser of the options that is probably being considered. Because like you said, it's like suicide circle right in there.
Yeah.
So, they're looking at some options, and there'll be an opportunity for the public to give feedback once that report becomes available.
Yeah, I just think for some people too, it's their goal to see how fast they can get through a roundabout when it's.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy.
To merge and yield and allow people to
flow
through.
Yeah, but no one does. It's either treated as a stop sign, which you're not. Yeah, that doesn't flow, or they go too fast, and then you go from one lane into the middle trying to make it faster, and then you're cutting through other people's lanes.
Yep. So when the traffic study is available, I will surely let you guys know so that you can give your feedback to the NRA.
All right.
All right, we'll catch Sandy's show right now. We're already on Bobo 89.1 FM, and we're back to KISS here. Sandy, we'll see you tomorrow on KISS for Tuesday Headlines. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, folks. Good morning to our Bobo listeners.
Peppermint, sorrel, ginger, beaver grass, or English. Get it ready. Your morning tea just got hotter.
Ooh, honey child.
On the cold, hard truth. Bobo 89.1 and Cayman's #1 talk show are bringing you morning talk like no one else. Monday Rewind, Impact Wednesdays, Caribbean Connections, and much more. Don't miss a beat with what's happening in the local community. Just keep sipping your tea.
What a mess.
Here's your host, live and direct from the Cayman Islands, Sandy Hill.
So good morning, beautiful people. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys had a fabulous weekend. I don't know what's going on with my computer. I think I might have to get a new computer soon. I don't really know why though. I mean, yeah, I use it a lot, but that's what computers are made for. You get these super high-end computers, and then I need to get the show phone. Let me just see if I can grab that real quick. But yeah, it seems to have been doing really unusual things lately. You guys remember last week, twice, 2 days in a row, it kind of restarted itself. And I'm like, oh, that's not a good sign. Get that blue screen of death, as IT people call it. And then it hasn't done that since then. But last night, all of my internet tabs, so both Google and Chrome, just kept stopping for some reason. And I wasn't able to see anything, which is super weird. So I'm keeping an eye on it. I kind of threatened it that you're going to get replaced really quickly if you don't shape up. I'm going to fire you. And so as soon as I said that to Marlon, I'm like, I think it's time for a new computer. It just started working, no more blue screens since that day. So I'm a little bit suspect. And then, of course, I'm like, He says to me, well, what's your budget? And I said, I don't have a budget. You can tell that he's a thinker when it comes to numbers, right? He's like, what's your budget? And I said, the budget is no budget. And so he said, no budget? Well, we can't get a computer for free. What do you mean no budget? Oh, he makes me laugh. I was like, I didn't mean zero budget. I mean, just get me what I need to get within reason. When you say no budget, I mean, it's not like you're saying, oh, go spend $10,000 on a computer. No. But it's on 24/7. I must tell you, I hardly ever turn this computer off for anything unless I see something going on. So I did restart it last night, but it's on 24/7. And I'm always, video stuff and running stuff. And so, yeah, these things take a toll. So good morning to the beautiful Vernita. How are you? Happy Monday to Joseph. He says, hello, how are you? I'm fantastic. Good morning to Marshall. Jose is here. So on Thursday, we're going to be talking about our 50 by 50 plan because, folks, we got to get on it. And I've been kind of watching my diet, and I kind of feel like I feel slimmer already, although I haven't made a whole lot of changes, but a few people have noticed. They're like, have you lost a few pounds? Like the midsection, the big Santa tummy seems to be going down a little bit. But, if you want the truth, because sometimes people are just being nice. They're like, oh, Sandy's in 50 by 50. We'll tell her that she's losing a few pounds. If you want the God's honest truth, ask a 6-year-old what's really going on, because they'll tell you, oh, mommy, your belly's so fat. Are you sure there's not a baby in there? That's what Gianna says to me all the time. I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, no. She's like, okay. She hasn't quite discovered how to not be brutally honest. So yes, when she tells me I'm fat, I believe her because she's definitely telling me the truth. So I got some apple tea and water for breakfast this morning. But I do feel a little bit, slimmer. Don't know. But we'll see. But yes, we got to get moving this week. The actual exercise part needs to kick off this week. And of course, we're slowly giving up things. We're going to talk about that method of adjusting your diet slow and easy. So good morning to Jose. Miss Mitzi is here. Olivia, so good to see you. We got a lot to talk about this morning, including the Monday Rewind. And then we had on Friday's show, we had a lot to talk about on Friday, but of course we dedicated that to the late Queen Elizabeth II. And there's tons of events that are coming up in honor of that. So we'll bring you guys up to speed on that as well. So good morning to Miss Alice, Olivia, Barbara. Scott's got it locked. Barely missed Scott on Friday, but still got to enjoy my curry chicken. Friday is like curry chicken day now. Debbie and I went and had our curry chicken waffle cone on Friday, and it was delicious. Good morning to Felicia. Miss Barbara is here. Sophia says, good morning, Miss Sandra, Blake, and Aaron. Yeah, I keep forgetting. Oh my gosh, I feel so embarrassed. I keep forgetting Aaron because I got used to not saying that for a whole month. So Wee Wee is here. Iseline, thank you for joining us. Aliano says, good morning to all. Update your systems drivers. Aliana, we're going to talk about your little situation this week that happened on Saturday. Aliano say maybe doing a defrag or run system tools to clean up. Yeah, I leave that to the IT guru in the house, but I don't know what's going on. Good morning to Leslie. Leslie says that computer is going to learn the cold hard truth about its purpose and function. Oh yeah, honey child. You better believe it. It's going to be out the door if it doesn't behave. So that's just, listen, you got these things for them to work a particular way. And when they don't, you don't have time to be messing around now, because I got people tuned into the cold hard truth every morning expecting a certain delivery. And I got to deliver. Melissa, good morning. Miss Iva's here. Good morning to Hero Blair. Is mango season officially over? Miss Iva, no more mangoes on the tree. We got to wait a whole nother, 8-9 months? Ugh, that's probably good. I'm sure the dietitian, because she did say to me, oh, one of the things you need to avoid is mangoes. I was like, really? Really? Are you sure about that? Because they're very, very high in starch, apparently. Even the green ones, even though I'm not eating them ripe. It's not the sweetness that you're worried about. It's the starchiness of a mango. I'm like, oh. But, I only really eat them for the most part during the height of mango season. I'll have a couple batches of mangoes and everything in moderation, my friends. So Hero Blair says that he's still mourning the loss of Her Majesty. And we're going to talk about that. We might not get into the full details of that today, but there's some people who feel a particular way about this whole situation. And I think we'll have to discuss that maybe in tomorrow's program. And I understand both sides of the coin. This is one of those situations where I do understand a little bit of both sentiments, people who are not necessarily mourning her loss. But I think that they're confusing the legacy of the British Empire as opposed to Her Majesty the Queen. I think you've got to be able to compartmentalize these things a bit and not to confuse them. So Karen is joining us from New York, from Brooklyn, New York. So good to see you. Lily is here. Mr. Amelia, good morning to you. She says, love the blouse. Have a blessed and victorious day in the Lord. Thank you, Miss Romelia. Yes, child. Miss Iva says those mangoes are all done now. So Sophia says to soak mango leaves overnight and drink it. It's good for a lot. Do they have to be like at a certain time of season or just any time you can grab a mango leaf? And what exactly is a lot? What's it good for? Amiri is here. She says, I've been out for a while, but still tuned in most days. One day isn't complete without a little CMR sus. One's day is not complete without a little. Yes, Anicha, I'm well aware. On last week I went to Miss Sabrina's meeting on Thursday. And somebody said to me, girl, you got to go out. You were talking about the Queen and how it's so good that Harry and Meghan were there because their timing was impeccable. You were marking the woman dead before she was even dead. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. But I mean, the writing was on the wall. It was just a logical thing. But I do have a little bit of a goat mouth, child. So don't let me ever put that on you. Because yes, I'm well aware of the Caribbean sentiment of having a goat mouth. The beautiful Miss Reba's in the house. She says, I'll call you soon or you can call me. Yes, you and I need to connect for my Cayman Voices series, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. So let's play our little morning jingle for Monday Rewind.
Time for Monday Rewind. The Cold Hard Truth's Monday Rewind show recaps the weekend's news and events so you don't miss a beat.
Don't miss out.
All the weekend's source, news, gossip, and well, it wouldn't be a weekend recap show without traffic accidents too. Cayman Marl Road is Cayman's #1 news source and has the island's hottest morning talk show.
It's the hottest.
Make sure you don't miss a beat with Monday Rewind.
Rewind.
Tune in every Monday from 7:30 a.m. on both YouTube and Facebook.
Yes, folks. So now it's YouTube, Facebook, and Bobo 89.1 FM. Wonderful. So we got to back it up a little bit because, Sophia, keep me posted about soaking those mango leaves, champ. Okay. So yes, we've got to back it up significantly because, like I said, Friday, our regularly planned topics had to be abated, so to speak. So here we are on a beautiful Monday morning in the Cayman Islands, making up for it. A couple of things, really, really interesting conversation on Thursday with the folks from the National Roads Authority. As we were saying this morning, this concept of a flyover is interesting. It obviously needs more discourse. I don't know that it's a perfect solution for that area. And as I always say in this program, a lot of people have this concept of, oh, just build a bridge, just build a flyover. Like, I'm so amazed at how the internet engineers are like the internet physicians during COVID. They have all the answers. And the truth is they've not thought about their proposed solutions very much at all. Thank God for the real experts, the Edward Howards of the world, the Marian Panduis of the world, who can then reach out to even further experts, because we don't have flyovers here in the Cayman Islands at all. So they need to then reach out to additional experts who can really talk about what's going to be involved in the design of this flyover. There's a lot to consider. The cost of it, like he said, it's going to cost us several lanes, which will impact traffic negatively again. So we're willing to give up, 2 of the 6 lanes and go back down to 4 lanes. It's going to be quite an eyesore, I feel like. I don't feel like there's any way to make that look really nice, but if that's the only solution or the most viable of all the solutions that are presented, then it could potentially be what it is. So there's a lot of options that they're considering. And I think the flyover probably comes with the most impact, to the environment, the most impact aesthetically and everything. And I don't know, do we even know, this is why we need the results of that traffic study. Do we know how many people are actually using that area to cross over? Like, are the people who live across the street, so now there's a new complex going in there, a new apartment condo, I don't even know what it's called. I think it's kind of close to maybe 6 months out from completion. I'm not even sure. There's several others over on the Grand Harbor side, behind Grand Harbor, on the water, that have opened. There's the new complex that's next to it. Again, I don't even know if these things have names, but there's the new complex that's next to Grand Harbor, which is going to be like mixed use. So I think that there's going to be some residents in there and then like shops and so forth, right? How many of those people, although they live right there, are actually walking across the street to even get to Grand Harbor and back to where they live? I'm curious to know, is it 500 people a week? Is it 100 people a week? Because, at some point you got to have some fixes on numbers, because it's not going to make any sense to build a flyover if it's like 30 people a week actually decide to walk it, because everybody else is like, although it's right there, I'm going to be loaded down with groceries and I still want to drive over to Grand Harbor to get whatever and to make use of services. So I think that's in part what the traffic study will be able to answer for us, those types of questions. So, I think we need a little bit more information before we can have a meaningful conversation on that. So we'll wait till the traffic study comes out, get a copy of it, and then we can discuss it a bit more. So that was Thursday's show. Also on Thursday evening, I attended the public meeting, I hope you guys saw this, of Miss Sabrina Turner. So she had a community meeting. She had one a few months ago. And I'm telling you, she's the only MP that has had more than one of these meetings that I can recall. And I've been going to all of them. And in fact, some people, in particular West Bay, I'm still waiting. I think they decided to do a collective one. I can't even remember what they did in the end. But, some people really haven't had their own meeting. Y'all need to get together. I don't know how many ways I can say that. I'm saying it from the north, the south, the east, and the west. Get it together. Your people need to hear from you on a regular basis. So she did have a meeting, and a couple of things came out of that. One of those things we're going to be talking about this morning was that car fire that happened on Wednesday, because we haven't had an opportunity to discuss that yet on the program. And this is one of those areas that needs to be addressed holistically. And so, yes, we're definitely going to be mentioning that. And of course, there's quite a bit that's going on as it relates to the Queen's Passage. Today at 3 p.m., the Legislative Assembly is having a special meeting of Parliament where they will be, giving remarks in her honor and so forth. And then the CTO has also kicked off today in earnest as well. So this is the Cayman Islands Ministry and Department of Tourism preparing or partnering with the Caribbean Tourism Organization to host the business meetings from the 12th, which is today, through the 15th, with ending with the Youth Congress on what day is that? On Friday. So it's a busy week all the way around, folks. So we're here for it, of course, bringing you all of the latest as it happens. And it's just one of those things where I must tell you that, you know, you got to have your little diary and your little planner and split yourself into this. This is one of those weeks. So we're going to do the best that we can. So yesterday there was official proclamation ceremony here in the Cayman Islands. It happened on Saturday in the UK. And somebody was saying to me this morning, well, what is this proclamation? What does it mean? All it is like, it's the official proclamation that King Charles III is now king. And this is the process of, you know, you proclaim it to the folks. So that happened. I believe that the governor might be joining us briefly this morning as well. And good, a bit of good news. Someone just said, good morning. I'm messaging you in regards to the lady with the 4 children. I have a place that I can rent her. Do you have a number I can reach her on? Yes. We'll find it after the show for you. Beautiful. Okay. So, So I am expecting maybe the governor at 9 o'clock. I was going through a few emails because, listen, the emails were really, really busy the last couple of days. And I was super busy this weekend. So it took me a minute to really try and catch up on emails. So I was up until like after 1 o'clock last night doing all those bits and pieces. So yes. So let's talk about the fire, since that happened on Wednesday. And then after that, I want to talk about Cayman heritage and culture and the importance of us trying to preserve that, because we're not actually doing a very good job. And then we do have a death announcement that we'll be making this morning as well. So listen, on Wednesday afternoon, evening, around 6:30, I got the first of a series of messages. People saying something's on fire. We think it's I don't even know what it's a house. It's something, you know. One person who lives in the Prospect area called me because she has a dog that is home. And of course, she's now concerned that her poor dog is going to be caught in this house fire. And, you know, poor thing is going to die. Like, she didn't know exactly where the house fire was. It was just a lot of concern about what this was. And people are trying to still get home at 6:30 in the evening. And all they could see was this plume of smoke over the Prospect area. And trust me, I'm going to show you some video footage here in a second. It was massive. Like, I could literally, as I was watching it, see the sparks in the fire. Higher up, like over homes and stuff like that. So here's a visual, here's a picture of it. This is what people on the bypass were seeing, right? This is like when the dump is on fire, this is the kind of pollutants and everything that's actually going into the sky. And here's another picture that demonstrates the point. So as it turns out, it was a van, this van here in this picture, that just exploded and caught fire. I mean, look at the flames. Look at the flames. High up into the sky. This is pretty crazy. So, by Thursday, not even by Thursday, I think it was by Wednesday night, somebody started messaging me and they're like, Miss Sandy, we have been complaining about this particular residence for quite some time, complaining in thin air, and nothing's happening. And I was like, ooh, honey, chill. Here we go again. I am so disappointed sometimes in our agencies, as they call themselves, right? They're civil servants. And some of y'all just missing the mark. Now, I don't know what the issue is with enforcement. I mean, they only seem to be willing to enforce things against the big boys. Make that have been a DART or a, big time developer, having 55-gallon tanks of gas just laying around the place, y'all would never hear the end of it. It would be like, oh, we're going to find them $1 million and they're polluting the environment. And all y'all sitting there, rah, rah, rah. Yes. Y'all need to reel them in. But what happens when it's the little man that's doing it, which, by the way, accounts for the vast majority of the infractions in this community? Let me be very honest. A lot of these big developers, they have better sense than that. They're not going to jeopardize things exploding in their neighborhood for the sake of just trying to be cheap and running illegal operations and so on. They have the resources and they will spend the money to do it the right way. A lot of these fly-by-night operations, they don't care about anything except making a few bucks. And this is actually putting people's lives at risk. And this is extremely dangerous. Yes? Y'all need to pay attention now. Because here are the details of what we know about the situation. We're going to publish this on the website after the show. But listen to me very, very carefully about how dangerous the situation is. So you have fire rescue personnel, the RCIP, showing up to this location, in order to provide a service for the good people in the Prospect area, not knowing that they themselves were putting their own lives at risk. What are we talking about here? Well, listen to this very, very carefully. This is an illegal garage. They're all over the place. People report them all the time. And quite frankly, nothing is ever done about it, which is very, very unfortunate because something needs to be done. And so we have situations like this one where you've got a 55-gallon, listen to how incredibly crazy this was, a 55-gallon drum that is full of gasoline. Now, y'all know I'm not the best at sizes, but 55 gallons sounds kind of biggish to me. That's pretty big. And it was not the only thing that was on site that was hazardous material in creating a really dangerous situation. Lord. They also had, hold on, let me get you all the details now. I don't want to get it wrong. So let me get you exactly what was on location. And this is an active investigation now all of a sudden, which apparently they knew about from 2019. So 2 or 3 years ago, the residents in the area had been complaining about this and zero, zilch, nada was done about it. Okay, so we've got 55-gallon drum full of gasoline. That's what eventually ignited because they were siphoning it off of the gallon into that vehicle. And that's what sparked and ignited, right? The site also contained 4 250-gallon diesel containers, along with 7 55-gallon drums full of gasoline. Hello, what? Did y'all just hear me? We're talking about 4 250-gallon diesel containers and then another 7 55-gallon drum containers full of gasoline. Okay, these people really wanted to blow up the entire neighborhood. You have police and fire rescue guys coming on location, not even knowing that they thought water was in these big containers. So they had no clue that they contained hazardous material. As Caymanians would say, by the grace of God, this wasn't a worse situation. Because if those containers had caught fire and exploded, you would have an entire neighborhood with people, there would have been people dead because you had fire rescue right there standing up next to the drums, not even recognizing that that's what this was. I mean, let's look at the blaze to see exactly how bad it was because the picture speaks one thing, but let's have a look now at the video. So this demonstrates how high up the fire is going. Have a look at this. This is a house. It looks like it was kind of close in proximity to this house. At points in this video, you will see the flames of fire sparking that high. And look at how high into the sky the pollutants, the smoke was actually going. But watch closely because you will see the flames rising up above the top of that roof. See right there? Look at that. That's how high up in the sky that was going. How high do you guys think that roof, that housetop is? It's like it's a 2-level housetop and you see the flames above it. So y'all do the math in terms of the figures. You know, these people in the entire neighborhood had reason to be concerned. I mean, really and truly, this is one of those times that we probably needed that, what do you call that emergency thing? Emergency notification to say evacuate the immediate area of Mangrove Avenue, because had this exploded, people would be dead. But of course, people went into it not even knowing how incredibly dangerous this was. Look at this little person cycling by in their bike. They're like, oh yeah, something's on fire, and they just keep cycling in the direction of it. I was like, you might want to run the other way. But you know, people just did not know exactly what it was. So here's more footage. Look at it. Apartments next door, homes next door. Thank you to our fire service guys. Look at them. For them, they had no idea what was going on. They're like, let's just get to the location. Yeah. So that's the actual and it's a good thing that it didn't spread, folks, beyond that, because again, this was potentially an extreme. So that is exactly what fire rescue and everybody else was dealing with. And it's unfortunate that these fly-by-night garages set up in residential areas with no controls and nothing is ever done about it. So let's talk a little bit about what more we know about the situation, folks, because I have seen the correspondence as it relates to the complaints that had been made over the years in relation to this specific location. And I've heard, and people call me all the time, oh, there's derelict vehicles here, there's an illegal operation garage operating here. And you feel like, as this person has said, that you're speaking in thin air because absolutely nothing is done about it. And they just continue to operate with complete impunity. When somebody's life is lost, this kind of garage and this kind of facility, those people, quite frankly, need to be put in jail. I think that the authorities need to stop playing around with this. And I don't know if we need to revise the enforcement powers that they have. And maybe now government needs to be having a look at this. But somebody needs to wake up. This was our wake-up call. A lot of times we seem to miss these wake-up calls, these opportunities to go, wow, that was a close call. We better fix this legislatively, first and foremost, to give the respective entities some additional powers if they need it. Because, here we go again. You have derelict vehicles that are all over people's property. And yes, to some extent, it's private property. But if those derelict vehicles are causing, a community hazard, then that's not just your problem and your private property. That becomes a problem for the entire neighborhood. So we actually have photos. I'm going to show you guys here the photos that we have of the location to show you really how long, this has been ignored. And it's been a while. It's been a minute that people have been complaining about this, and zero and zilch nothing was done. Now, all of a sudden, OFREG is investigating, the police are investigating, DEH has issued an abatement order. It's like, great. Well, thank God you're finally going to do something about it. But why did it even take this long? Why was this not something that we could have done something about before? Okay. Let's have a look at the photos here, folks. Here we go. In fact, hold on. I think I'm going to pull them out this way so you can see them over to the side over here. So we have this photo, right? So they try to put up, it looks like a little, what's it called? Perma-wrap. So they try to put up something to kind of hide what it is that they have going on there, to shield it from public view. And you can see industrial equipment, a backhoe, an industrial truck, and all sorts of stuff here in this photo. And these were the photos. I'm just going to open all these. These are the photos that have been sent over by way of complaints to what they were actually doing is they were contacting DEH. I'm going to not, my apologies, not DEH. They were contacting DCI. And I'm going to talk about this here in a second, because I do believe, let me just see which one is with the green, because they were pointing out one of the tanks. Yeah, this is one of the tanks in this picture, right, that they have circled in green. So they were actually, the residents who were, I don't know why that keeps disappearing. Hold on here, folks. The residents who were complaining about this were sending all this photographic evidence and everything to DEH. See behind the backhoe, you see that tank back there? That's what that is. That's one of those big tanks that almost exploded, that could have very well exploded. So this is what the person has shared with us. They said that, I'm going to just back up here. This said, this happened on Mangrove Avenue. My family and I have been reporting the illegal operations happening on this property since August the 16th, 2021 to the Department of Commerce, Planning Department, DEH, and DEO. And nothing has been done about it except for the Planning Department, who did take the person to court, but little to no outcome came out of that from the judiciary level. Ministers have been contacted previously, and finally today, Mr. Kenneth Bryan attended the location to see what was happening firsthand. Ironically, he left about an hour before the explosion. Well, wow. Lucky Kenneth, because he could have been a victim of this. I mean, this is really quite shocking, right? So the person goes on to say the actions of this individual and the lackadaisical inaction of enforcement sections of several government departments allowed this to happen today. It's good to know that no loss of life happened on this occasion, but it is infuriating knowing that I have been back and forth with these departments for 13 months with no results, and maybe now they will eventually do something about this person who is operating illegally from a residential area. So here are some of the photos that have been supplied. All these big gas tanks pushed in the area. And by the way, not just explosion and loss of life in that way, but God knows what is potentially contaminating and seeping into your groundwater from locations like this, because they're not disposing. Listen, if they're siphoning gas from one of these big drums into a truck, and that's what caused the explosion that we saw on Wednesday, you better believe your bottom dollar that they're not exposing of any of their hazardous material, hazardous waste in any safe manner whatsoever. Look at this. So I don't know if this is the individual who owns the property or this is the company that they also own. Excellent Services, Landscaping and Gardening. They got a bucket truck, grab truck. Is that them? Shall we give them a call this morning and find out what this vehicle was doing at that location? Oh yes, I'm in one of those moods. Let's give them a call. Let's see what kind of explanation they're gonna give us for this bad behavior. So do we know who actually owns the property? Let's see. Oh, gotta see if we can connect to Bluetooth.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Do you own Excellent Services, Landscaping and Gardening?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was it your property then that the location of the fire on Wednesday?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
It was.
Can you call me back in a little bit?
Oh, you don't have 5 minutes?
No, I'm at the cashier right now.
At the cashier?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll call you back.
Okay.
We're gonna call him back, all right. I tell you. Wow. He's at the cashier. He must have collected money from all those illegal operations. Folks, we got to do better than this. Well, we have some questions for him. He has admitted that it's his property. So I would love to know who he is, Nigeria. So this is what we have going on location. And, listen, we have to balance people who are trying to make an honest living, right, with doing it in the right way. Sustainability, I was speaking to the premier over the weekend about what sustainability means, because he was saying a lot of people think, oh, it's just about the environment. But sustainability has a very broad definition to it. And it includes everything from your people being sustainable in terms of opportunities, economic growth and so on. And so on the one hand, you think, right, people have a right to try to make a living, but you have to do it in the right way. And there's certain areas that have been designed and earmarked as residential areas, not industrial areas. And so this sort of thing, parking of vehicles and so on, cannot happen in a residential area. I have seen people in residential areas complaining about farmers. This is right around the corner from Chris Saunders. In fact, there's a man there who leases out his land to people, to some guy who's a farmer, using only God knows what in terms of, fertilizer, whatever else he's using, but it was actually making people in the neighborhood sick. Whatever it was he was using was not safe because it was making people sick. And there's a guy who had a heart condition in the area, and that family had to eventually move because of his pre-existing heart condition being impacted by the fertilization and whatever else was being used. That is not a designated, farming area. So it does concern me gravely that these sorts of things are permitted and allowed to happen. Let me see if I can grab this caller. So it's about time that we start to really shape up, folks, and try to clean up these areas, because I think that what is really going to happen, I don't know why the Bluetooth on this phone is not connecting today, but I think what's really going to happen is going to be quite a disaster. Caller, let me see if I can sort out the Bluetooth issue, and I'm going to call you back.
Okay.
Yes. For some reason it says connected, but it's not connecting. So we'll just restart the phone real quick. See what's shaking this morning with this phone. Yes. So, this is problematic, and it's really quite unfortunate, because in this case, we were all lucky, and I want to speak to this guy to see if he's aware how close he actually came to taking out an entire neighborhood. This is serious business. Strong Will, good morning. How are you? Tommy's joining us. Good morning to Jonathan. Good morning, Judine. Aliano says the issue is a typical morning routine. Look out now. Everything is in one district. Everyone is flooding into Georgetown. The reliance on cars is massive. Okay, so we're not talking about traffic at the moment. Thank you, KK. We'll get back to that. Good morning to Miss Ann. Cayman Detailing is here. KK says ridiculous. Come and see who these idiots with an E were. Good morning, Ransford. How are you? He says, where is this gas station? You understand? You'd feel like that was a gas station because of all of the tanks of fuel and stuff, diesel, gasoline, improper handling of it. It's like, what? Sophia says, yes, Miss Sandra, on point. Marshall says that's carelessness for the powers that be to now investigate after the fire and explosion to occur before they can look into the situation. It's ridiculous why they had to wait for it to get out of hand. Well, this is a question that we always ask. We're always going backwards in time, trying to clean up a messy situation. Prevention, an ounce of prevention. But we're not about that life, unfortunately. And it's one of the things that I feel like one day we're ultimately going to regret. So I do not know why, unfortunately, I cannot get a Bluetooth connection today. Anyway, we'll make it work with the speakerphone. Morning, caller.
Good morning, honey child. How are you today?
Well, I'm right here, thankful that this situation wasn't any worse.
Love the blouse. I love the blouse. I love the blouse. 2X large is my size. I love the blouse.
Oh, good morning, madam.
Good morning. Let's get down to business.
Okay? Yes.
My child, it's so disappointing. It is so disappointing to see and to know that DCI and planning, I mean, I don't know, honestly, I don't know what to say. I don't know what conclusion to come up with, but they have poorly done their job in years. We have issues. We have been having issues. One is on Webb Road, off North Song Road. One is in Washington Boulevard, Brushy Avenue. We have illegal garages set up. Yeah, they tend to start out with mobile license, then they anchor at their premises. And for years, I mean years, we've been fighting and emailing DCI about the situation, planning about the situation. And here was the most annoying part of it, which I have been trying to reach out to Minister J.E. Banks for a meeting and cannot get it possible up to this minute. Planning tends to have a 5-year law. If it's past 5 years, there's nothing can be done about it, even if it has been reported before the 5 years. No,
so what you're saying is, let me just clarify what you've just said. So if someone is breaching the law in excess of 5 years, they feel like there's nothing they can do about it. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, that's what the feedback I'm getting from them.
Wow.
Because look at the situation down in Washington Boulevard. Oh, it's been more than 5 years that this man been having this garage down in there, and planning law, which is to me is baloney. You understand? Because it's not safe in the community. It doesn't have a actual painting booth. When they're painting, we have seniors that lives around the area. We have people inhaling the spray paint, and they just don't care. It just don't care. You have, right now, as I said, Sandy, for years, we have been emailing. When I say years, I mean good number of years. We have been emailing DCI and DEH. I'm not DEH, planning regarding this issue. About last week, I spoke to someone in planning, and there's no record in planning that property is set up for illegal for a garage, but yet an illegal garage is conducted on that premises. You understand? It is some friend thing that transpired. Now you hear from, when I put it to the BTF meeting, all you can hear is that, this person has a trade and business license. How in the God's name did he receive a business and trade license when you're putting a business down in the community with people within a 500-yard stretch supposed to be notified? Not one person was notified. How did they go about scheming to get that person a trade and business license? I don't know. The other one in Webb Road is happening on Crown property. Thank God NRA is stepping up to the plate, and they have decided to go and fence it off, because and they put boulders in there, and the man was so fierce he moved the boulders with his equipment and parked his vehicles and working on Crown property still. So what has been come down now is boiled down that hopefully this week NRA will be getting fencing in there to fence off the property and double yellow lines, and hopefully the police will do their work and ticket anybody to park on those double yellow lines, because we seems to be having a serious issue with the police not doing their jobs either. We have right next door to Webb Road, Bronx Road, and if you look down in Bronx Road, all you can see is cars lying off on the sidewalk, derelict vehicles, and people parking on top of the sidewalks that is created for pedestrian. You see it. I mean, government entities need to get up and do what the people of these beautiful islands are paying them to do. they needs to do their jobs.
Yeah.
Because things are going from worse to worse, and you give them an inch, they takes a yard, and they just keep on expanding. They don't care about the dangers it's creating in the community. They don't care.
Unbelievable.
You understand? That's like a senior in East End. A senior in East End have been fighting with DOE regarding someone created a cow pen right in her domo and planning on to tell me, they give him time to apply for approval, but not stating that it's going to be approved. What kind of foolishness is that, though? If it's not a farmland, it's a residential area. How in God's name planning on come and tell me, say that, they give him time to apply for approval? Planning slack, man. They're slack. And as I say, I cannot get the attention of Jay. There's a lot that Minister J.E. Banks don't know, and I cannot get the time of the day to sit down and to let him know what the people is going through, what is happening, and what is happening under his portfolio that he knows nothing about.
Well, maybe someone will speak to Minister J today and let him know.
All right, my darling. Let's hope we can get these things rectified.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, darling.
All right, honey. Okay. Folks, it's just quite shocking and unbelievable that again, residents have said different pockets of this is happening all over our communities. They've been, complaining for many, many years, and zero zilch nada. Nothing is being done about it. Really, really quite a serious indictment on all of the agencies. But one of the observations that I've made is it seems to be the case that every single agency is all about pushing it on somebody else. And this has happened to me before. You have that disgusting dog next door who's like attacking your dog and doing the most. Oh, police is like, no, that's not us. We don't have anything to do with it. Go talk to the Department of Agriculture. You go to the Department of Agriculture. Yeah, that's not us. That's police. And it's like, can you guys figure out who is responsible? Because nobody wants to have to even look at the enforcement arm of what they should be doing. Everybody's like, oh yeah, we'll push it on some other agency or department or whatever, and nothing ever gets done. People's lives are at risk. So Flashpoint says police cars drive by that same location and do nothing. Why? Because they're going to tell you it has nothing to do with them. Just like I said, they're pushing it. And nope, that's an environmental health issue. That is off-reg. That's this one. That's the, DCI. I would really love to get DCI on this program because I need to understand what is it that DCI does in terms of enforcement. Because apparently it ain't nothing. They're doing nothing. Zero. Caller, morning and welcome to the program. Oh, sorry.
Thing about is a good governance issue.
Ugh.
And your friend, the governor, is responsible for that.
The governor's responsible for good governance?
That's right.
So he needs to tell DCI, police, all of them to get it together.
He's in charge of the civil service. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he'll be on the program tomorrow. So
this foolishness is even happening in the courts, where he, the governor, should have put regulations in place for complaints against judges, and he failed to do so himself.
Okay. Well, we'll put the question to him about whose responsibility this is.
All of everything you're talking about is good. Is a good governance issue, and your 5 minutes to call that man back has expired.
Let me call him. I appreciate it. Yes, let's call him back now and see if we can make any headway. Let me see here now.
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Garfield.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Hanging in.
You're what? Sorry?
Yes, I'm hanging in.
You're hanging in. That's good. So listen, we got your number because we understand that you own the property and I guess the business where the car fire happened on Wednesday in Prospect.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us a little bit about the situation because we'd like to hear more about what happened.
Can we set up a meeting? Who am I speaking to?
This is Sandra Hill from Cayman Mall Road.
From Cayman Mall Road.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right now I'm on the road driving Sandra.
Yeah, but
So,
listen.
I mean,
Can I? All right. This is what I want to ask you because I understand you had an illegal garage or some sort of operation going there that you're not. Like that. Yeah, that you're not supposed to have in a residential area, and that you had.
Nothing like that, Sandra.
Nothing like that. So all of these tanks of.
If we can set up a meeting, so we can talk. Right now I'm driving on the road, and I'm up at so much trouble now. I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm driving right now.
All right.
So if we can set up a meeting and we can talk. It's easy.
Well, the question that I have for you is when we set up this meeting and talk, are you willing to go on record in terms of whatever your explanation is for this? Because the authorities are saying that you were putting people's lives. I said, are you willing to go on record? Like, will you do a recorded interview? Because the authorities are saying that you were potentially putting people's lives at risk. And this could have killed firemen in the Cayman Islands, police officers, residents.
Just call me later and then we set up a meeting. I'm driving on the road now.
All right.
And I don't want to.
You don't have hands-free then?
The problem. Yeah. Repeat that?
You don't have hands-free in the car.
If I do what?
If you don't have hands-free, like where you can drive.
I'm driving a truck. I'm driving a truck right now.
All right. Well, we want you to be safe. All right, my dear. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Here comes the excuses now. I can hear it already. First you're at the cashier, then you're driving a truck, then we have to have a special meeting. Someone sent me the trade and business licenses. Garfield Ellis trading as excellent gardening, trading as tropical landscaping and maintenance, trading as excellent events. He got about 4 business licenses. And so I have a question for DCI. I don't even know who's head of DCI these days. I know Mr. Ryan has left. What's your purpose when it comes to enforcement? Because I have never seen DCI utilize any of its enforcement powers. If it has any, it certainly does not know how to use them. You've got people who are out there operating unlawfully, do not even have a business license. And DCI is like, oh, they can't do anything about it. You've had people, remember the young lady in court the other day? The court said, despite the fact that they're fining her for not paying pension or not paying insurance, running a scam, taking out insurance just to get a business license and work permits, canceling it right afterwards. DCI is notified of that. DCI is in no position to do anything. And she has other business licenses that they permit her to take out. Once you have run afoul of the law, and especially if you have a conviction, you shouldn't be able to get another business license. I'm sorry. That would be one hell of a deterrent for you to walk the narrow line when it comes to operating your business. What's the point? What is the point of having any enforcement capabilities or having any laws at all if they can be broken so willy-nilly and nothing happens? It's going to continue to happen. Y'all think, listen, Mr. Ellis is out there this morning driving his truck, getting money from the cashier, doing whatever the heck he's got to do. He's about his business. I seriously doubt that he cares one bit because our laws have no teeth to them. So what is the point? Jonathan says, and they would save money by, that's a whole nother, Jonathan, get on topic now. Flashpoint says the selective enforcement of laws is a big thing in the Cayman Islands. And this is problematic. What do you mean by selective enforcement? There should be no such thing. Regardless of who you are subject to the same laws as everybody else. No one is above the law. Not me, not you, not your granny, not a politician. No one is above the law, and people should be subjected to the same laws. Marshall says nothing was done before because in most cases, something has to happen first, and then they will look into it after the horses left the barn. It's crazy because people could have lost their lives. And like legitimately, people could have lost their lives. KK says this could only happen in the Cayman Islands. Trust me. Well, it's presenting a very dangerous situation. KK says Sandy's in a big mood. Yardy, you know this. Only them can get away with these things. Make it be one of her own. Well, I'm not going to throw any Yardy under the bus, except to say that in the vast majority of cases, factually speaking, that's exactly who's doing it. Not to say that you don't Caymanians who are doing it too, but my experience has been the ones that have been reported time and time again. It's people who from, back a yard, they can do whatever they want. They don't care. They don't have any residential versus commercial versus industrial area. They don't seem to know the difference, and they care not. So, Aliana says, ooh, salty Sandy. John Crow coming for you. Well, John Crow gonna have to come this morning because I'm more concerned about trying to potentially save lives, loss of life. What would this guy be doing this morning? Had that whole place exploded and a couple of our firemen had been subjected to loss of life. Imagine all the families that this would have been impacting today. You can't bring people back from the dead, folks. We've not advanced technology that far yet. He would have been driving a truck same way this morning, not arrested, not in custody, nothing. Probably. Knowing our laws, probably so. So, yes, Mr. Garfield Ellis, Garfield W. Ellis, we'll be in touch with you. I'm going to see about that interview. And I bet you he's probably one of those 2003 status grants too. Come and see that. Such a shame. What a mess. So let me just see here now. The other comments that we received from the residents. Oh, yes. Someone said DCI acting directors Mitzi Watson Jervis. All right. We'll reach out to Ms. Mitzi, see if we can get her on the program because we'd love to hear. She was also head of enforcement, as I recall. So maybe she has some additional information that she can provide to us because we really need to know. We need to know how this situation really goes. Let me just read you some more of what the persons who were complaining about this were saying, because essentially, they have said that everything that they were sending in was being ignored by all these different agencies. So they actually included some of the emails. Right? Good afternoon. I'm again following up on this complaint made initially in August of 2021. I have to this date not received any email or call to have this matter addressed. I was directed to speak with you when I called DCI because and asked for guidance on what steps I could take. I have since left several messages for you, but none have been returned. Let me see who this was to. This is enforcement at DCI. Who else? I'm not sure who this one was in January the 19th of 2022. So here's a person who was constantly following up. Another email. Good morning. I'm following up on the complaint below made on the 16th of August, 2021. To date, we've not received any calls or emails from DCI to acknowledge this complaint. There's been no change in the circumstances outlined below. Here was the substantive email that was sent. Good afternoon. I am making this report on behalf of my mother, so-and-so, owner of block and parcel number so-and-so, against Garfield Wayne Ellis, the owner of block and parcel 25B266. Garfield is the holder of trade licenses number 61017, 60939, 59962, and 58292, which are licensed to operate out of the following addresses. Here you know. Licensed to operate out of block 20B, parcel 417, Kingbird Warehouse, Unit 45, Kingbird Street, Georgetown, Grand Cayman. Now, that's in more of an industrial area, Kingbird Warehouses, right? That's where his business license has approved to be operating out of. So again, for DCI to pass the buck to somebody else when you're operating out of a location that your business license does not permit you to operate out of spells pure slackness with a capital S. How is it that they are not like, okay, sir, you can't be operating at a Prospect, Mangrove Avenue, block and parcel 25B266 if your license says that you're supposed to be down in Kingbird warehouses. And so we will revoke your licenses and you need to reapply, asking for permission to operate in a residential area. And then that's when you turn them down. Because there's certain businesses that you are not permitted to operate of in that particular location. Because you'd never be able to get permission to do so. Well, that's how it's supposed to work. Let's continue reading these messages. The person goes on to say, oops, let me see here now. Yes. For several years, Mr. Ellis has been operating these businesses out of the address listed above, which is located at the end of Evco Tours Lane off Mangrove Avenue, Prospect, Georgetown. And they say that Evco Tours Lane is a private road not owned by government. The property from which he's actually operating out of is classified by Lands and Survey as residential/agriculture and not as commercial. The following complaints are being made against Mr. Ellis. Many derelict vehicles, which have been dumped by him and his associates over the years. Several shipping containers have been placed on the property to house equipment for his businesses. One or more fuel holding tanks. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, they even said it. One or more fuel holding tanks have been placed on the property, which present a fire hazard to nearby residents. OMG. Can you spell it out anymore? Like, seriously? The people just said fire hazard. There you have it right there. And nothing was done. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Several large trucks and heavy equipment are also stored in this property. They've been they have markings for his business licenses. Excellent events, excellent construction, Ellis Construction, excellent gardening and tropical landscaping and maintenance. These vehicles are also constantly parked on the private road leading up to the property, as well as in adjacent properties which belong to other families. The removal and damage to private property signs, which have been placed to signal such to Ellis and his employees, and the use of a makeshift electrical connection, here you know, from property at parcel 23B213, which is sent by air using an extension cord over a different parcel and block number to power equipment which has his employees using, oh geez, some piece. What the hell? Which his employees are using in another parcel. This again is a hazard to nearby residents. Sounds like CUC needs to pay him a visit too. On several occasions, the actions and attitude of Ellis and his employees has led to confrontations with my mother. The last instance being Sunday, the 14th of August, where a police report was made in order to warn one of his employees who, when told not to park a truck in a location where it was blocking access, used lewd language against the mother and drove a backhoe towards her direction in an aggressive manner. And they make reference to the actual police report. Wow. Pictures of many of these activities have been obtained and can be supplied to DCI if needed. We are requesting an investigation into this matter in regards to the action of Mr. Ellis and his disregard for the laws of his trade and business licensing and of private property. And nothing was done. Pretty crazy if you ask me. I mean, this is pretty shocking and enough complaints here, but zero was done about it. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you this morning?
Boy, I'm feeling a little perturbed. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored. Listen, I'm hearing you loud and clear. And it's been a fight for many years with the illegal garages all over the place. Some seniors complain about these garages. They create blind spot. Sometimes they end up in the seniors' backyard, and the seniors are afraid to sleep because all hours of the night you're hearing movements out there. I have a great concerns for the road. The overflow of some of these cars block the road. They park anywhere. You have rodent problem. You have all sorts of problems coming from these vehicles. My other concern is the emergency and service vehicles getting in and out of these communities with the narrow roads. You know, I mean, at one point I remember the ambulance had to park down the road and walk to somebody who was in distressed place, and that shouldn't be. So this is a serious problem that we're facing with these illegal garages in our communities. DEH also, sometimes they don't pick up the garbage because cars are parked there blocking, and it's not a car that you could move right away. Sometimes the car is on the jack or on blocks or something of the sort. So, listen, and I don't even talk about the eyesores. So it is a big problem. And it is a big problem. And I mean, as far as I can remember, one senior had to move out of her place because the ambulance couldn't get to her in a timely manner. And this should not be.
Absolutely.
This is a disgrace, and I hope and pray that it can be cleared up better sooner than later.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Anyway, I'm really enjoying your show this morning.
Thank you so much, my dear. Okay, dear. Thanks. Well, I think we need some answers, right? We need to understand how these agencies operate, how they enforce anything. Like I said, it shouldn't make a difference who it's against. And a lot of these fly-by-night operations, sometimes when we put up like derelict vehicles that have been left by the roadside for days or weeks on end, there was one I don't know if it even finally got moved down by Public Beach that was there for weeks. And I have certain Caymanians, which I'm disappointed in some of y'all because some of y'all ain't got no sense. It is no wonder that people come here and make up the laws and do whatever they want because y'all encourage it with your slackness. Some of y'all like, oh, well, maybe they don't have any money to move it after they've been in an accident. How do you know? And I was like, excuse me. There is a reason why the law requires you to have insurance on your vehicle. When you crash it with drunk driving or whatever kind of carelessness you're doing on our public roads, you have insurance for that. And if you choose to breach that law and not have insurance, then whatever falls out as a result of that is your responsibility. So if you run into a light pole, you are responsible finding that money out of your little piggy bank and moving your vehicle and having it towed. I don't care if you don't have the money to do it. Then don't drive a car. It's as simple as that. Y'all expect to have your cake and eat it too. Well, my Aunt Lottie used to tell me that that's not how life works, right? There's certain responsibilities that come with certain privileges. And if you want the privilege of driving on the road, heaven forbid your car breaks down, whatever, go borrow the money from your little Aunt Sally or somebody. Move it off of the roadway because it is presenting not just an eyesore, but a real hazard to people, into communities, and to other drivers. But I see y'all sitting back talking foolishness about, well, you don't know. Not everybody rich. This has nothing to do with that. This is about we're either going to be a law-abiding community or we're not. Right? Are we going to be a free-for-all or not? How is it going to work? I don't know. Y'all tell me. What is the sense of having laws if the very people in this community do not even have respect for those laws? Miss Shirley, good morning to Melita. Miss Shirley says, as long as we have such lax laws and little to no enforcement, our problems will continue to get worse and worse because people know that they can get away with anything in Cayman. Morning to Sir Benji. Miss Reba says you need to come West Bay and check Mary Molly Hyde's Road. Here, you know. Lord have mercy. Another situation. Miss Darlene says the call is 100% on point. Our government has to take this in hand. And the thing about it is when we say our government, if they put the laws there, the people who work, these are civil servants now, who work in these positions, what is the sense of going and contacting J.E. Banks? What the hell is J.E. Banks going to do? If he calls a civil servant and say, y'all need to do your jobs, that's interference. So don't call him. We need to start calling the head of the civil service, Mr. France Manderson, and say, listen, France, I'm complaining to DCI. I'm complaining to DEH. I'm complaining to this one, that one, and all the gang, and nothing is being done. Who in the civil service? If it's not police, it's not planning, it's not DEH, everybody is passing the buck. Something is surely wrong here. Someone should have been able to stop Mr. Ellis before it got to this point. Such a shame. All right. KK says all these things are very obvious, but guess what? They do nothing because they don't care, getting paid to be in the office to mind other people's business. Well, mind other people's business, the ones who are breaking the law. Yes, that's the business that you should be minding. So Flashpoint says that some of the property that you think is residential is actually agriculture/residential. Check the title. Well, in this case, we know that this is industrial work that is being carried on here. But again, at the end of the day, Mr. Ellis does not have permission to be at this location. Let me see here. Mr. Amelia says she's trying to call back. Good morning to Miss Sue. She says certain types of people come here and do all these types of businesses. They shouldn't be allowed to have planning. Immigration doesn't stop them. Well, nobody seems equipped to stop them, and this is problematic. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I really think you need to call DCI, get them on the line because they need to answer these questions. Why is this happening? We need to know publicly why is it happening, and remind them of Section 119 of the Penal Code. Remind them of 119 of the Penal Code that we are subject to take them to court for not doing their jobs. Frank needs to step up to the plate. I'm sorry, it seems as if he's someone you cannot talk to regarding the issues that are happening with his with civil servants. It's like he's turning a blind eye to it. It's like he just don't care. You understand?
Well, you see, this is my question. I mean, I would have to go and look at every piece of legislation to see what enforcement powers they have. But the fact that they have done nothing, and we know they have some kind of enforcement powers, really makes me believe that they simply are not doing their job. So, you know, I don't know who's responsible for DCI, like who can hold them accountable.
Another thing, when you have that with DEH, is when you bring things to their attention, because they're a part of it when they come in with these overflowing garages with these derelict vehicles, harboring rats and rodents and what have you. And they had had a Jamaican officer, and what I've noticed with these Jamaican officers, I don't have anything against Jamaicans, honest to God, I don't. My problem is that they tend to turn a blind eye to what is being caused. It's their culture. This is how they live back home, and they tend to bring it here. So when they see that all of these people overflowing vehicles that can cause all of these rodents and all kind of things to come over into their neighbor's yard and be a pest to their neighbors, it's like it's just that it's the norm for them. You want to know that is okay because that's how they live back home. Well, here is news flash. This is the Cayman Islands. And even though I know that we have some Caymanians who don't care about the situation and does the same thing as well, it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Our forefathers split in their grave to see the situation Cayman is in, how Cayman look right now. I mean, I am so grateful and thankful to DEH that they have worked along with us, Cayman Kind Action Committee, and they have gotten hundreds of vehicles out of our communities to try to stop, to prevent this off of Crown property. And that's another situation. Crown property is another situation, Sandy. You have people who go dump dirty vehicles on top of Crown properties. And that, I mean, I don't see it the way I'm asking DEH, why don't they charge them according to the letter law? Charge them the $215 for the vehicle, for their grab truck moving it. Charge them $500 for littering. And if they don't start charging, it's not gonna stop. They have to start hitting these people where it hurts, and that's their pockets. If they're having issues with collecting, oh God, license for the department right there. They can't get you the car insurance license. You can't get your driver's license renewed. You can't get nothing done until you pay these fines that you got outstanding. Why is it so hard? You understand? Why is it so hard? And another thing, you can't even get the police to say, go and ticket these people for with all these cars they have overflowing in our streets, which is dangerous. You understand? Because sometimes you find police as a part of the problem. You find police have garages that are doing the same thing, or that's their friend, and they take the car there and they get their car done half price or for free. So they ain't gonna ticket them. They're not gonna enforce the law. We're in some serious trouble. Here in this Cayman Islands, we are in some serious trouble if the police doesn't button up their buckle, if planning doesn't button up their buckle, if DCI doesn't button up their hello, we are in some serious problems. It needs to stop here and now. It needs to stop. You understand?
Absolutely.
I am tired of hearing the runaround. Oh, it's DEH problem. Oh, it's NRA problem. Oh, it's planning problem. Oh, it's police problem. And when you go to that other department, the circle continues. The circle continues. The only way I see does fit now is to get the attention of everybody. Every issue that I come across, I put it on Facebook. Every issue I come across in our community.
It's such a shame that we even have to resort to that, but I guess that that's the most effective thing. Thank you, caller.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. So this person says the electrical cord was being run from the same house in which the property happened last week. Imagine. I mean, this is crazy. We have another person watching the program. This person says, oh gosh, let me just see now. Oh yes, this person says maybe, today, okay, right. Where should this complaint be filed? Right next to where is the lady from the dump? Where was Operation Tempura? Oh, what was in Operation Tempura? Sorry. Who left the drugs out at the police station? What did they do with the police dog carcass? Dead toddler in Cayman Brack? So these are all questions that we have been asking with little to no answers, is what this person, the point that they're making. And they said the man on the phone is more scared of you than enforcement from any official entity. Oh my God. You're the only one we see doing anything about it. Instead of just saying something needs to be done about it. Lord have mercy. Another person says, good morning, Sandra. I totally agree with that caller. Mobile garages are popping up all over the place. The worst thing is that they have no overhead expenses and they have no liability insurance, and that they operate in their yard and make a mess in neighborhoods. It really needs to stop. They need to go and rent a warehouse and comply with all the regulations to operate without being a nuisance to others. DCI should start driving around and investigate the private homes that are operating businesses at their homes and shut them down. Let me just see. We also have, this one says, good morning. The enforcement at government department is a joke. They know someone that knows someone that's connected to the person. That is the question. Like those in CBC or Works, we have these people, we give these people PR, and then they go on to get status, and half of them become a liability to this island and become reliant on NAU. How the hell did they get to the points required to get PR? This place has gone to hell. Yes, my dear child. Hell in a handbasket, too. Another person says, Sandra, I beg you to please keep this topic this morning alive because this is a problem throughout the island. Another person is saying this is, that we hire so many foreign nationals in enforcement that's maybe why we can't get anything done, because when they show up to enforce something, it's one of their countrymen that is breaching the law. And, of course, some people come from very lawless jurisdictions. Let's call a spade a spade. Not trying to insult y'all, but the truth is the truth. Lord have mercy. So speaking of people who have no clue what is going on here in the Cayman Islands, we saw over the weekend, another rewind moment, people hanging our flags upside down. Some people not having the flag at half mast, not at all. The Queen has just died. And whether you guys like the Queen, like the monarch, whatever, we are still a crown dependent territory. So, protocol and respect has got to be followed. And if you don't want to do it, then don't be the person who's in charge of the flag at the police stations, at where was the other one that was flying upside down? The airport. It is so egregious when private sector does it, but Lord Jesus, when it is our own government entities. So when we first put up the comment about the flag, the first one, because we did two over the weekend. The first one at the post office, some cheeky person decides to send me an email, some person named Gigi. Gigi, I appreciate the message, but really, get your life together now. And they're like, oh, you had mass spelled wrong. Well, that's because my phone thinks that it's smarter than me. It might be with certain things, but my iPhone is always correcting me, thinking that I meant M-A-S-K when I actually meant M-A-S-T. But the phone doesn't know what I'm trying to say, so the phone corrected it. But Gigi, your point taken. The error was brought to our attention. We corrected it. What does that have to do with the price of rice in China? What does that have to do with the fact that the flag is upside down? In fact, even if I couldn't spell, let's assume that my 4 degrees were completely made up and useless, and I actually don't have a English degree, none at all, and I can't spell, right? Let's just make all of these crazy assumptions. Even if I couldn't, and I didn't know that was the correct word, which, isn't the case. Visually, I know what the Cayman Islands flag looks like. Do we all know what the flag looks like? Do you not know the direction that the flag is supposed to be hanging? So while you're concerned about a misspelling on CMR in relation to the post, spelling is one thing. Not even able to match a picture of how something should look is a whole other situation, honey child. You mean to tell me that we have people who are hanging a flag, and not just the Cayman Islands flag, because every flag is designed pretty much in the same way. You know what the top looks like, well, all the Commonwealth flags, you know what the top looks like with the British piece at the very top, and then our coat of arms. So you can't even look at a flag and tell that it just is upside down, which is supposed to be a signal for distress. I'm just like, Gigi, what's your point here? What exactly are you trying to say? That we have people who are flying our beautiful flag, who in reality do not even know what the flag is supposed to look like? That's worse than not being able to spell. This is like matching by phonics. Not even. This is like matching a picture. I think we pretty much all learned that like in the first grade. Okay. Find the pictures that match. And you looked at picture number A and you said, okay, that looks like the same as C. So I'm going to put these two together. Dog and dog, cat and cat go together. A little girl and a little girl, they go together. Listen, we need to get it together. Who is hanging the flag? Is this a Caymanian that really has no clue what their flag looks like? Or is this another situation where the post office has some poor security guard who is doing triple and double duty because they be working these security guards? You know, they're not there really for security because there's nothing they can do in terms of security. So they give them other stuff to do. Oh, you be the one to hang the flag and you get it wrong. Only God knows who's hanging the flag at the post office. Well, that wasn't bad enough because shortly after that, someone messaged me and said, Sandy, while you're at it, can you please inquire about the flag at the police station in Northside? They said the flag never comes down. Y'all don't know about flag protocol either? Do we have to contact the head of protocol for y'all to learn a thing or two on how to hang your flags properly? Here's the funny thing about this. Back in 2019, I believe, it could be that long ago, CMR did a whole story on how to hang the flag because we were going through a same wave of stupidity then as well, where people were disrespecting our flag and hanging it every which way but loose. And it was like, I reached out to protocol and I'm like, where is this information? Because surely it cannot be the case that we have people working in this country who know nothing about our flags, including Caymanians. Come on now. Let's get it together. And at that time, I was told, here's the website, here's the flag information, but this is going to take me to my next point. Quite ironically, we're going to perish as a people because we have no concept of anything about our history or our culture. Make that sink in while I try to find something here. So I'm told that the person I need to speak to at DCI is Miss Mitzi Jervis. Here at the main number. Let me just give her a little ring-a-ding-a-ling. See if I can reach her this morning because we would really like to have her on the program. Because we need to understand. Is it that you don't have any powers and the legislature needs to do a better job? Oh, we have to send it through to the ministry, it says. Okay, hold on. So she's not going to be able to help us. I just saw it on the website. It says all media queries and interviews. All right, let's call. This says Althea Lambert at 244-2386. And these government workers be thinking that they own the government phone numbers. Now, you know, I'm glad to see at least they have this one posted.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Miss Althea. Alethea. My apologies. This is Sandra Hill. How are you?
I'm doing well, Sandy, and you?
I'm good, thank you. I wanted to. I know. Listen, I'm having a moment here, but I wanted to put in an official request, and I can certainly email this over to you as well, to have some representatives from DCI come on our morning show because, you know, we just have a lot of questions about enforcement, what powers they have, and what they're able to do.
Okay, Sandy. Right. So DCI doesn't fall under this ministry anymore.
Oh, geez, I'm peace. Can somebody update the website?
That's fine. It's now with innovation. It's another ministry another minister Ebanks, Andre Ebanks. He's the minister with that portfolio.
Oh, so but this would have been.
If you send it to me, send it over to Kendra, and you'll see her email and contact.
Right. So this change would have been from last year when the government got into office. So this is well over a year now, and nobody's bothered to update the website.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
know that, but I'll bring it to their attention because DCI still remains very special to me. I visit them every now and then. So send it over and connect with them. And
all right, because it still has you listed on their homepage to contact for media queries and interview material and so on. So ask somebody to update that. Yes. Okay, my dear. Right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All righty. Bye-bye. You see what I'm telling you? Website's not updated. Your call. This has been going into 2 years now. Nobody has bothered to update the website. So thank you, Alethea, for being so professional this morning. Because as it turns out, it's not even her, but no one has bothered to update it. I mean, how hard can it be? All right, we will email her. DCI media request. I'm just going to start it so I don't forget to do it later on. I'll put the subject there. Okay, so let me just go back down memory lane for a second here. And see if I can find out what date that would have been that we would have we would have put up something about flags. I feel like it was at least 2019. And I'm going to get you guys the date in the article because once again, I feel like we're having circular conversations. We've been down this road before. We've talked about this before. And here we are yet again. Right? Same problem, no resolution, nothing. I tell you. All right, I'm having a little issue in the website here. Okay, I'll get that date for you here in a second. I wanted to talk about Cayman culture this morning, but it looks like I have to take another call. So I did tell you guys the governor's not joining us, right? He's going to pop in tomorrow morning. He's got some other engagements this morning. Since we're on the topic of enforcement, I have a gentleman who's going to be joining us here now from the Philippines. We also have a lot of labor-related enforcement issues. Labor, immigration, people's money being taken from them. And so this is yet another one of those stories. So Ace, you just need to click on the link that I sent you and join in that way. He's going to be telling us about his situation. My God, there's so much lawlessness in this country. I gotta tell you that I'm really like, it's peculiar and it's surprising that we look at certain entities and we want to hold them to a different standard. Oh, corporate Cayman, they have to do this, they must do that. And everybody else out there is being as lawless as they want to be. How is that fair? How is that? It makes no logical sense at all. Ms. Shirley says, I'm sure if government did a proper and verifiable poll to find out what the major concerns are that the people of this country have and want addressed immediately for the short and long term, they would find that legalizing gambling and ganja would not be at the top of the list. Thank you, CMR, for at least giving the people a voice, even if nothing gets done. Well, stuff is going to get done because we're not going to sit back and take this anymore. Okay? No more, no more, no more. Over the weekend, I want to thank Mr. Richard Sims over at DEH. Aliano contacted me about, the garbage stacking up yay high and overflowing and the whole 9 yards at his place of residence. Nobody came to pick up the garbage. One message later, somebody was there within 20 minutes to collect the garbage. As a people, we cannot sit back and lower our expectations all the way down to the ground and just throw up our hands and say nothing's going to be done about it. Oh no, honey child, that's not gonna work. Something has to be done and something will be done. Or, all of you who are out there protesting about your COVID stuff. Oh, COVID isn't real. They're forcing us to get vaccinated. Y'all need to get back up. Those of you who are protesting the poor LGBTQ community who wasn't doing you nothing, you need to get back up, find that protest spirit, and let's get back out in the streets and protest. And you know where we're going to protest most importantly is at the polls if stuff doesn't start to get done. We might need to start protesting on the government building like the Cuban Nationals. Maybe they had the right idea. I was going to say we could take a page out of Lovell's book, but Lord Jesus, no, we're not in the twerking business and none of us going to be wearing no scanty clothes to go protest. So never mind. Throw that idea out the window. Throw that out with throw out the bathwater and the baby for that particular idea. We don't want to do that. Good morning, Miss Bonnie. Ace, are you ready to go? Let's do it if you're ready. He says it's temporarily not available. Oh, let me send you another link. I think the website's actually having a bit of an issue. I did notice something just now. So give me 1 second. Let me grab another link for you. Because yes, I do think something is amiss. All right, there's an alternative link. More ways to skin a cat. So So we've got a missing cat. Okay, we'll put him up. Okay, thank you for that. All right, so Mr. France Manderson, good morning. He's listening to the program. He says, good morning. I was listening to your show. You are correct. When the civil service doesn't perform as expected, the person to hold responsible is me. I take that responsibility very seriously, as you know. The issue of illegal garages has been on the radar for some time, and we're putting together a plan to tackle them. Well, this is good because it has been quite some time. Why has it taken so long? But anyway, you're getting a plan together now. Okay, let's see how quickly we can do it. I don't want to say any more at this point, but the public will see action. All right. DCI has been doing excellent work, and I'm sure that the acting director can share the information with you. When things don't go right, we don't make excuses. We don't bury our heads in the sand and hope that the problems go away. We will take the action that is needed to solve the issue once and for all. Yes, we have a general issue, and I want to invite France back on the program. Thank you, France, for sending that to me. I do want to invite you back on the program because the general issue of enforcement, with all of these agencies remains a bit of a concern. Let me just see here. Okay, so that was a temporary. All right, so let me just flags. Okay, so this is going back to let me see here. Rules to handle and hang flags. Caymanians grow tired of people not knowing. August the 10th of 2020. So 2 years ago, we had an issue once again about flags not being flown properly. It was brought to our attention. So this was the one by Tortuga at the time. So we did a whole thing. Gave you the links for the coat of arms, flag, and national song revision law, because all these things are governed by laws, believe it or not. Right? You're not supposed to fly the flag at night unless it is illuminated. You can't fly it in inclement or harsh weather. Flying it as a worn or damaged condition or soiled. Now, if you're never even checking the flag, okay, you're never checking it, you're never touching it, the whole 9 yards, what do you think is going to be the outcome? Can somebody please notify the RCIPS that the flag at Northside, and they might want to check all their other locations, needs to be taken care of? Get a new flag. Surely that must be in the budget. Okay, your flag shouldn't be torn and tattered and looking like, my God. You're not supposed to fly it upside down, which is a problem that we continually have. You're not supposed to draw on it or decorate it. It's not supposed to touch the ground. Let's have a little bit of pride in ourselves. I'm going to give you all this link again. Somebody can send this to the Northside Police Station. And someone can also send it to the folks over at the post office so that they can get it situated. Okay? Aliano says, who protests the sun too hot? Aliano, the sun not killing us. Actually, let me quickly say this before we bring our caller on the program. On Friday, they had the 96 gun salute in honor of the late Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. So there's a number of things that are happening again. 3:00 today, Parliament is having something as well. I'll bring that up here in a second for you. But they had this gun salute, and you guys will know. Thank you, Miss Mary, the Honorable Mary Lawrence, and Mr. Lemuel Hurlston, who were on Friday's program with me, talking all things related to Her Majesty. And so, you know, we actually carried the parade live. So we had someone on location who was there providing us a live stream and intel. And of course, I'm sitting there listening to it, watching it. And then I saw some of your comments say, oh, well, what happened to the guy who fainted? I was like, wait a minute, a guy fainted? I totally did not see it. This is so crazy, right? I'm looking at the stream, but I've got like so many things happening at the same time. I didn't see, Ace, don't worry, I'm coming to you. I didn't see that the guy had fainted. So after the show, I had to go back and pull up the footage of him fainting. What a shocker. So to Aliana's point, folks, it is hot out there. Make sure that you are properly hydrating yourself. I'm going to show you the video now because this was like, OMG. Poor fella. You know, they're wearing these uniforms with all this stuff on it. I guess it gets pretty hot out there. 10 o'clock in the morning, you're thinking, that's not too hot. It is still hot. And child, this man literally fainted. Now, the weird thing about it is I watched it quite a few minutes before they started the 91 gun salute, and he was actually already starting to waffle a little bit. Like I saw him kind of do this, and then he steadied himself. He did that a couple times before the final moment. Let me show you guys this shocking video. Did that a couple times before the final moment when he dropped. So you kind of see him, there he is on the far right, behind all the dignitaries and stuff like that. See, there he's shaking a little bit. You see him shaking? He was doing that before. And oh my God. Before you know it, there he is. Bloom. Oh my goodness. And then he starts, I actually wondered if he had some kind of seizure or something. Because he was like shaking, like, So here are people running to his rescue. Oh my God, poor fella. Turned him on his side. I don't know who's CPR trained. The other question, speaking of prevention and cure, ounce of cure, prevention being, better than an ounce of cure. Everybody's like, where's the ambulance? At these types of services, is there no, EMT? There's no fire rescue. There's nobody close by. What if this poor guy had died? Praise God, he is A-okay. But I'm just saying, nobody close by. And then look at the other one. Look at the one on the right now. He's leaning forward a little bit. You see how he's kind of moving too? Like he's about to pass out? Do y'all see him moving? Did y'all just see that? Listen, it is hot out there. And it really seems to me that you need to ensure, now somebody taking a little bit of water, I guess, you've got to make sure that as a police officer, y'all in direct sunlight, oh, poor thing, there he is, he's getting up now. You got to make sure that you are getting enough water, you're properly hydrating yourself. Get those, I know you got to wear these fancy uniforms and all these little blingy things on it and whatever, but even getting a little towel, or they have those cooling pads that you can put on the inside of your collar to kind of, there he goes, poor thing. Oh my God. Just make sure that you they have the little cooling things you put inside your, do something to keep your body temperature within reason. Because if you think heat stroke can't kill you, let me tell you, speak to any physician, you will die. You saw the poor guy like shaking like he was having a seizure. I was so worried. So I contacted people at the event and they said, yeah, child, he's okay, but Oh my God. Carol says someone knows CPR. They placed him in the recovery position on his side and leg position. Well, thank God for that. But they should have had a little bit of a fire rescue service close by just in case, when you have these official events. Wow. Yep. No EMT close by, Marshall. Marshall also asked a question earlier about the guy who has all these business licenses, Mr. Ellis. And why does he have so many business licenses? Well, apparently there's nothing in the law, and it is what it is, that prevents you from having as many business licenses as you want. But more importantly, you just have to be compliant. All right, let's go to Ace now, who is joining us. Ace, good morning. How are you?
Hey, ma'am. Good morning.
So, Ace, you have found yourself in a bit of a situation.
Yeah.
So you're going to explain to us, what's going on and why you're reaching out to Cayman Mall Road.
Okay, so this is what happened, ma'am. Actually, due to pandemic.
Just speak up a little bit. We're having a little bit of difficulty hearing you.
Okay. You hear it now?
You need to come in a little bit louder.
Hello?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so ma'am, this is what happened. Due to pandemic, it's very hard to go back to that country, applying from here. So I applied so much job opportunities there, yet they prefer people who is on the island.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 years ago, I was working at the prestige company.
So you worked in the Cayman Islands before?
Yes, ma'am. 2 years ago for 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Then that company was permanently closed because of COVID, and I decided to fly home.
Mm-hmm.
Then years passed by. Like that's just this year, I decided to go back, and I get struggled. And I remember this guy who my friend recommended me to apply, and he was so responsive at first and willingly to help me. And he was so like, he's feeling my situation here. So without a doubt, ma'am, I trusted him and asked for the requirements, and then I proceed. And then I process everything, but I have to pay the work permit by myself because that's what he asks to.
Mm-hmm.
So then we first provided the 600 CI on June 16, 2022 for him to apply my documents.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, he told me that he had already applied and paid the work permit. So I was so excited. Yet he didn't given me any receipt from it, and he didn't. He even told me that it is gonna be only 2 to 3 weeks processed.
So let me just be very, very clear.
Mm-hmm.
You sent him money for your own work permit.
Yeah.
How much money did you send him?
Overall, it's $1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Okay. And what sort of company does he have?
It's a G&A cleaning company.
Okay. And any idea why a work permit for a cleaner would be $1,000? That sounds pretty high.
Ma'am. I know.
But that's what he told you it was.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
Okay.
Yeah. So weeks passed by, ma'am. I asked for follow-ups and still haven't gotten the receipt. And then he told me that I have to give the balance of 400 because he has to pay a fine from the immigration. And he sent me some papers that has a fine of 300 CI on August 5, and another 4,875 CI on August 17, because he said he was caught off employment without a work permit.
So he was caught breaking the immigration law, and he tells you that you have to pay that fine?
Yeah, he asked me to pay the other balance.
But what does that have to do with you?
I don't know, ma'am. So he just told me that he won't give me the receipt yet because he has to pay that fine first.
So does that include the $1,000 that you've sent him?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Okay. So you sent him this money from the Philippines?
No, I lent it from my friend over there.
Uh-huh. So you had to borrow money from your friend to get this money to him?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how tough he is. So shall I proceed, ma'am?
Yes.
So after that, ma'am, he told me that he will give me or send me the receipt when he get paid the fine. On August 15, ma'am, he sent me a screenshot of an email that my permit has been approved and is effectively on the same day, August 15. So I get so excited about it, ma'am, but still haven't received any receipt or even letter from immigration. And when you ask it to him, he is telling so much reason and stories. So 10 days later, when he still couldn't give us the receipt, I called immigration and asked my name if there has been any work permit approved. Upon checking their systems, ma'am, they found my last permit was 2 years ago and got nothing from this year. Yeah, so I called guard. I called this guy. And I said, "What's happening to my permit?" He couldn't answer me straight, ma'am. He keeps on telling lies that he's busy. So I asked for refund from it, and until now he couldn't give me. I don't know what he's doing with my money. So basically, this guy scammed me, ma'am.
He sure has scammed you. Let's see if we can get him on the phone this morning. Just hold on one second.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You have reached the voicemail.
Yeah, he's not answering.
That's going to voicemail. Let's see. Don't worry, we have you here, Mr. Garth. This is another one who shouldn't have a business license. These people are unbelievable. And I'm sure $1,000 when you're not working for years is very hard to come by, yes?
It's really big money.
So as you can see, he's actually turning off our calls. He's not accepting our calls. So let me just go ahead and let people know exactly who this man is. Are we able to find a picture of him? Do you have a picture of what he looks like?
Yeah, let me see.
Send that to me in WhatsApp because, I think I see him on Facebook. Is this him with the picture where it says, "We can do this, get vaccinated"?
That's him, ma'am.
Mr. Garth, I'm going to suggest you answer your phone this morning. Okay. Here we go. Garth Duncan, friends. We have 150 mutual friends. Am I friends with this joker on Facebook? Let me see. Oh, no, we're not friends. Praise the Lord. Friends with Denny, Jaron, Felix, Jake, even the premier, Wayne Panton. He's friends with him too. Albert, Michael Miles, Sarah Orant, Monique. He's friends with everybody in Cayman.
Yeah, guess what, ma'am? He is also a friend of immigration.
You feel like he has friends at immigration?
Yeah.
And why do you think that?
Because that's what he said.
That's what he tells you?
Yeah.
Oh, what did he say about immigration?
Because I tried to call the immigration about this and the immigration called him. And this is what the immigration told him. Give the money back to this guy because he is trouble. As soon as possible. But ma'am, that was August. And now it's September.
Right. So here we go, folks. This is Garth Christopher Duncan. Let's see if Garth Christopher Duncan has a trade and business license to even be operating, because I'm now curious about what he's up to. He doesn't want to answer a phone this morning. That might have been the easy way out. Sir, you need to give this man his money back. Find his $1,000 and return it. We're going to try him one more time.
All these things are governed by laws, believe it or not.
Yeah, so he's declining our WhatsApp calls, as you can see. He's bold. He's very fresh and bold.
Yeah, he's tough, man. Really tough.
So he keeps promising to return your money, but he won't return it.
Exactly.
Well, we're gonna make him CMR famous this morning. So let me just see if he has a valid license, because again, this is where immigration needs to really get on these people, because Garth, let me see. We have Garth Duncan. Okay, so we have nothing under. So we only have a Garth Anderson trading as AC Solutions. I don't see a Garth Duncan, but let's search by last name as well, just in case. So we have a Duncan Powery. Duncan Are you sure this guy even has a business license? Because I don't think he does. So I see a Mr. Duncan Parry. That's not him. Euphema Duncan Cole. That's not him. Everton Duncan. That's not him. Lacoon Duncan. That's not him. So I don't even see a business license, a current business license in his name. What's the name of his business? Did you say? Ace? Oh, did we lose Ace? Hello? Trying to see here if we can get
Hello?
Yes, what is the name of his
It's G&A Cleaning Services, ma'am.
G&A.
Yeah, like Golf and Alpha.
G&A, because I'm searching by his name and I don't see a business license.
I think that's his uncle's name.
Oh,
actually.
so he's pretending to be working for the uncle.
Yeah.
You know the uncle's name?
No.
G&A. Well, let's see if we can go down to G&A. A's, we're going through all the pages here of the business license. So he definitely does not have one. Oh, surprise, surprise. From Jamaica. I still don't find out if he has status or exactly what he's doing in Cayman. Let's see here. What a bunch of lawless people we got around these parts. G and A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So we have G and P, G and K, G and I don't even see a G and A. I see G and J, G and K, G, F, and G and P, G and H. I don't see a G and A. Huh. All right. So according to some other people here, according to some other people, he goes to the law school. That's what he has up on Facebook. You know anything about him wanting to be a lawyer? It claims that he's studying law at the Truman Bodden Law School. Well, he better try and follow the law first of all. He wants to study the law. What a little joker he is. Wow. So this is what he has up on his social media profile. Claims that he's studying the law. Does anybody know him from law school? Yeah, you got to make sure you're following the law, son. Oh, this is the company, G&A Spectacular Cleaning Service. Well, they don't seem all that spectacular to me if they can't even follow the law. So let's look up the word spectacular. See if we can find that one under trade and business licensing. Oh, hold on now. So we have spectacular general maintenance services, building and engineering. I don't think that that's him though, but it's hard to tell because these people be making stuff up now. So I still don't see a G&A. Okay, but we do have let's see if this gives us another number to call. 326. Oh yes, let's make a few more phone calls this morning to see if we can't get to the bottom of this. He replied when I messaged him on WhatsApp and said, "Good morning. Can I call you back at 10:30, please?" At 10:30, the show's over. We want to hear what you got to say right now, Sonny boy. All right, let's call this other number. Maybe he's busy cleaning a window.
You have reached the voicemail box.
You know something wrong when you can't get any answers on any of these numbers, child, especially when they're advertising it as, "Oh, call us on this number." Nobody answers the phone. Here, you know. Oh, he's calling back. Hold on. Mr. Garth, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Miss Sandra.
What's going on with you and this $1,000 that this young man gave you?
Oh, that Mr. Ace?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so he wasn't supposed to pay for a work permit, right? But, you know, he had a situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we had Mr. Winston, he had a young lady working with him at the time who held on to his papers.
He's a liar.
So that's why, you know, his thing couldn't be sorted.
Mr. Garth, you are a law school student?
Yes, formally, yes, ma'am.
Formally. Did you ever graduate?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. All right. You seem to know my name. You know anything about me?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay. Because you would know that I don't like people who lie to me now. You do know that much, right?
Definitely.
Because I'm being told that you're not the most honest person in the world. Ironically, somebody else has just messaged and they have said that you're a thief and his name is Garth Duncan, otherwise known as Chris. And he's a criminal. He personally stole $700 from me. Don't let his soft voice fool you. He's lying and evil to the core. This is what people are saying. He's a liar. And he told the same thing to me. So why are you work for your uncle? What kind of business is this?
Well, it's a cleaning company.
Yes.
But he's sick. So that's why, he wasn't able to do a lot of things.
Okay, but people are saying that this isn't just, and the name of the company is G&A Spectacular Cleaning. That's the name of it?
Yeah.
So, there are people here, more than one person who has the same story, and they're saying that you're being dishonest. Your uncle has you working for him. He has you employed as what? What's your job at the company?
Oh, no, I'm not working for him. He's sick, so I operate, do certain things to help him.
But you're not really helping him when you're really calling this whole situation into question.
I know. It's been about maybe 3 months that this thing started.
Uh-huh. And so what are you going to do about it? You need to find, at least by my calculations, now we have 2 people that have come forward. Ace wants his $1,000 and another person wants their money too.
Yes, they're going to be getting that back on
when?
Friday. This Friday.
This Friday?
No.
Yeah.
So somebody else who's familiar with you says that you had your PR revoked because of your shenanigans. Is that true?
Oh, no, ma'am.
You haven't had your PR revoked?
No.
Well, do you have PR? You have status? Which one have we?
And it's not because of the shenanigans or whatever, because it's the last 3 months. Because, Winston was sick. That's why.
Did we report on your uncle before? We reported on your uncle before. This is the one who, Mr. Winston Salmon, who was in check for some $22,000 in bad checks to government. This is the same uncle of yours?
Yes, that's right.
But it looks like y'all really need to get your shit together. I mean, excuse my French, but what on earth is this?
We've made arrangements with the government and stuff.
Well, listen, if you wrote over $22,000 in bad checks to the Cayman's government, you can't on the same hand be taking money from people for work permits, which is against the law and unlawful.
Can you hold on 1 second, Ms. Sandra, please?
All right. Okay.
She's gonna drop it off.
Yes,
See?
there you go. Hang it up.
Yeah, he's gonna hang
Garth,
up.
really? That's who you are? What
who he
a
is, ma'am. That's who he
scammer.
is.
You see, this is what I tell y'all now, Really? Where is this uncle of his talking about he's sick? If you're sick, wrap up your business. Oh, we had done a story on him. I didn't even realize this was the same bunch of jokers. Yes, here's a story. Government sues businessman Winston Salmon for $22,000 in bad check. We wrote that just in March of this year. Ooh, honey child. Ace, had you known this, had you been reading and paying attention to CMR, I bet you would have never given him $1,000.
No. You're right,
oh
ma'am.
My God. What is wrong with these people? Oh. So someone said that he was arrested. He was on bail. Again, related to pension violations and stuff. They need to do more than arrest him. They need to keep him locked up.
Yeah,
He better find your money by Friday.
Promises, ma'am. Every day he's giving promises every day, and until now.
And Garth, that was a slick move. Tell me to hold, and then you can hang up the phone. Come on, Garth. You think I was born this size or what? No, sir. You see, this is when we talk about the lack of enforcement, why it's so important, because not only is he taking advantage of you, but God knows how many other people are out there. Wow. This person says, I cried as I cannot afford to lose a cent but God will fix this as the law does nothing. God fixes, listen, God helps those who help themselves. Y'all need to start standing up. Seriously. Even to you, poor Ace, you were so afraid of this man. You were like, oh, I don't know if I can come and I can speak up on this because he might do something to me. Listen, this man can't do nothing to nobody. He's a common thief. He's a criminal. As you can now see for yourself, right?
Yeah, I was a bit nervous, ma'am, you know.
Yes, and that's why he would take advantage of someone like you all the way in the Philippines, figuring, what are you going to do? That's why I had to ask him, you know who I am, sir? You know anything about Cayman Mall Road? Yes, he knows. Really? Then you should have known better. Let's try calling him again. Oh, all of a sudden now we can't reach him.
He's blocking his number.
The mailbox of 3459.
I tell you, Garth, you should be ashamed of yourself. Cayman Islands government, keep this man locked up. He is stealing from people. Strong Will says, try the company name. I don't know what kind of business license they have, but you know what it is. This would be a registered company, although it says that the government at the time, according to the CMR story, and I had to believe at the time that I would have been doing my correct research. It does say here that he was Winston James Salmon trading as G&A Spectacular Cleaning. So now that we have his name, let's look up his name. So we have Mr. Winston. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Nope, nothing comes up under Winston except for Churchill. Let's see. Salmon, nothing comes up. So I bet you he doesn't even have a current business license. Leonora Salmon trading as MDS Cleaning. Hopefully she's not related to him now, honey chill. Because sometimes what they do is they switch up and they put the business licenses in the wife's name and this one's name. Oh, here he is. Yes, found him. Winston Salmon trading as G&A Spectacular Cleaning Janitorial Services from January 2022. So he renewed it in January to January 2023. Block and parcel number 124 Halifax Road. So nobody answers the company phone. I wonder if they really get any business. Let me just see. 1 second, Ace. Let me make a few more. See if I can get a hold of your uncle, because he probably don't even know what's going on. They have a Facebook page talking about they're getting 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know who gave them a 5-star rating, but that's probably a lie. So as of now, that address is Cardinal Avenue. Our clients are proud to have us as their service is second to none. Call today. Well, we're trying to call, but you're not answering the phone. Says to call the 917 number. Let's try it again. We want to get some cleaning out done here this morning, sir. But it's not the kind of cleaning y'all clean that you do. Oh, so it actually has Garth's number, which is 917-5798 as the number to call for it to book a cleaning service. Well, Garth, if you don't answer your phone, how are we going to be able to call you? On a serious note, maybe I got a cleaning job for you. Jokers. Now, can someone please message Barry Quappe? Because I see her messaging him on Facebook, talking about she wants to give him some business. Tell her do not give her money, her hard-earned money, to these scammers. Barry says, this is 17 weeks ago, so I don't know if she ever called him. Do you do steam cleaning? And if so, how much? And they said, oh, we'll send you a private message. And yes, we do. Please inbox me for pricing. Oh, Lord, Barry, don't get caught up in that hot mess. So it seems to me they're getting a little business. They got a little advert up here and everything, talking about they're trustworthy and reliable. Not quite sure what he means by trustworthy. Find someone trustworthy and reliable. Well, I don't think that's them. Now they claim that they're doing quarantine and rental properties. Oh, because they'll clean your quarantine and rental property. Cleaning offices and other commercial spaces. What's this number? Oh, they have an office number too. Let's try the office number. See if anybody's going to answer that 746 number. I tell you, 9337.
To your area code and phone number, followed by pound. If you make a mistake and need to start again, press.
So I don't know where this 647 number is, but that doesn't even, that sounds like a totally wrong number. And it says that they're looking for cleaners.
Followed by pound. If
Talking about promotion opportunities, they'll train you, good salary, holiday pay, pension, bonus scheme, all kind of lies. And this is Garth's number that now he's refusing to answer. Wow. Garth, you should be ashamed of yourself. Does anyone have a number for Mr. I wonder if he was the 326 number. 1631. So none of the numbers work.
You have reached the voicemail box of 345.
Unbelievable. So he said he's helping his uncle, but he certainly has the business number answering it. So I don't know what kind of help he's giving the uncle, but I would say that he's making the whole business look very unprofessional. Have you heard anything about the uncle? Did you know anything about this uncle being the one who owns the business?
Yeah, well.
That's the first you're hearing about the uncle.
Yeah. He just showed me the pictures that his uncle has dialysis. He's on dialysis.
Anthony says just pathetic, should be taught in schools and the population be aware of these and many other matters. Miss Sue, Bink says it was probably a fake picture. I've confirmed that that's him. Debbie says another winner from Jamaica immigration. You need to do better. Marshall says they're only lawless because no enforcement or teeth in the law. Good morning to Paul. Marshall says, well, a lawyer is a liar and a liar is a thief. So there you go. It all adds up to scammer. Well, let me, on behalf of the legal profession, let me actually tell you that most lawyers are very upstanding, honest people. And he's not a lawyer. He probably took one class at law school and updated his Facebook profile with another lie. Gabby says, Lord, from you hear the name Chris, #crosses. Gabby, you sound like you need to tell me something about people named Chris. If you don't know Santa, you better ask someone, says Cameron. Shirley says DCI is losing loads of money because there are many people operating businesses under someone else's T&B license. I know this for a fact. I'm pretty sure I would not get away with making money off of my T&B license instead of going to the government and applying for another license or sending them to get their own. Oh, Lord Jesus. Aliano says stand up is the BS court for 2 weeks and not get your money. No problem. Call Sandy and let them all road fix them. Pressure bus pipe says El Ray. Well, Garth, you better find this man money.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask
this gentleman, I think, this is a lady, says Ijuan says, good morning, Sandra. I never commented, but I listened to your show. This cleaning company is a fraud. I was hired with them. Call me on Messenger. Oh, send us your number. Sounds like we have much more here that's going on. Magdalene says importing them and the Caymanian women in training into wedlock. That's a whole other conversation we're going to go at again, Magdalene, because yes, both our men and women are the ones who are keeping them here with these fake and fraudulent marriages. Cameron says the Wizard of Oz couldn't make this up. Miss Shirley says, thank you, Ace, for your bravery to stand up for yourself and others. Be safe. Yeah, I mean, listen, it takes a lot, especially when people on work permits, because, they don't want to get in trouble. And they certainly, don't want to blacklist themselves, but you can't blacklist yourself against a scammer. Oh, and he has his little son who goes to private school. A little nursery school, St. George's preschool. Oh, what a cute little thing. But Garth, you got to do better than this. This is not acceptable behavior. Someone says that they worked in the banks for many years, and most of these cleaning and guarding businesses are havens for criminal activity. Here, you know. Wow.
Yeah, ma'am. Maybe I want to ask help from you. Actually, that money needs to be returned, and I have nothing to pay.
Yes, this person says his uncle is Winston that owes the government for all the return checks. Yes, that's him. He's got multiple trade and business licenses. He's an old man, but very crooked. He's diabetic and on dialysis, and Garth runs him up and down. But you know, Garth getting his cut out of it. Why can't government just take all these work permits and let them get other jobs?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, we're gonna make him our jackass of the day. We're gonna post him up, and let me just see if this lady is willing to speak on her situation. Hold on, I'm gonna give her a call before we end the program today to see what her situation is, because she describes him as an evil person. Says he is presently online.
Good morning.
Morning, my dear. I'm reading your messages, and I'm just like, wow.
I'm so hurt, and I'm not someone to go public with things.
Yes.
I'm not that kind of person, you know.
Mhm.
And I always have to give people a chance because I love the Lord and I'm a Christian.
Mhm.
I have a friend of mine in Jamaica who needed a job, and somebody told me, you know, I saw this cleaning company, you know, want people to work, and I've met him before because he had a permit for somebody that I know before, and the person had to go home because he became sick. So I called him and he said, oh, you know, yes, you know, I need people to work. You know, we have more work and we can actually help before. But I want to say this before I go any further. You see, when you're a Christian and you disobey God, you're in problems. Because when I approached him, I could hear the voice in my head, do not go any further. But I rebuked myself and say, come on, no, you're so suspicious. For a young man just, you know, doing his business. He said $350. The gentleman from Jamaica, it's okay, give more, got all his paper up, give Annie the paper in his hand, did all the preliminaries. He called, he kept in touch as usual. And he called me and he said, the permit has been granted. I got 2 permits this week. I said, oh, that's fantastic. Called the young man in Jamaica, told him his family was excited, you know, kids going back to school. It's the first month of June. So, you know, they're anticipating to come and work to send his kids back to school. First week, he said to me, he went to Cayman to buy the ticket, and the lady there make a mistake. She was supposed to put 7, but she put 17 instead. I said, well, okay, you know, if I can't change it, then, you know, we'll wait for the 17. We'll wait, no problem. And it's downhill from that. From that, it's been downhill. So I said, we talk almost every day because I was in shock. I'm like, how could you do this to anybody? How could somebody trust you and respect you? How could you do this? Prior to that, I was in church one day, and he called me in a panic, and he said, listen, I need to take care of something. My name is Faith. I don't have to hide it. Can you lend me $350? I said, listen to me, I don't want to send money, but I'll lend you. Not even that he wants to return.
Wow.
Let me tell you something. Miss Fiction. I am so wounded by what this young man has done. And it's not even the money, you know, because money is just, I can't afford to lose 1 cent right now, not even a cent. But it's not even it's a principle. The way how he made that young man feel the permit was granted. And he didn't even go in, he didn't put in the permit. I had to find somebody's home, and the young lady, because he claimed to go work for him and took all the papers with her at her home. I had to find her home and said, give me the young man's paper. The young man, he was so broken on the phone because he told his family member his permit is granted, he's coming out to work, to better his family, and this is what has happened to him. And yes, I said, I won't call you anymore. I'll leave it to God. You are going to be exposed, and I won't do it. God go see to it. Until this morning, a man called in. You see it, Miss Sandra?
Yes. Wow.
I never called you. A man called in to expose him because you can't touch God. People are going to be with it. I don't play at church. I don't play at church, Miss Sandra. I love God and I love people. And so if they do this to me, what do you expect? But I'm going to tell you right now, I called the police and I made a report. I didn't want to do it, but I said, you know what? He needs to have some manners. He has no respect. Well, let me tell you something, woman of God. Mark my word on his phone today. The 12th day of September. It's not done yet. God going to deal with this case of what he's done to me. He has been lying to me Friday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, 10 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock. And it's round in circle. If you had just come and sit down and say, listen to me, you know, woman of God, this is what's happening to me. But when I find out all the mess, I'm like, how could you do this to people? People are suffering. They have their families.
Unbelievable.
But it broke my heart.
Wow.
Like a young man, he could have been a prominent person on this island if he had his place card and be clean and speak truth. Yeah. Hurt me, man. I've lived there for almost 40 years, and it's the first I'm in anything like this ever coming on the radio because I'm a very low-key person. I don't like excitement.
Well, you don't like to. Well, you don't like to be in the excitement, that's for sure. I mean, you know, you can watch it from the sidelines, but nobody wants to be caught up in this kind of mess.
But he will, the Lord, I prayed on, I said, God, cover his little baby, cover his son, because when you do evil to people, when you make people, children, hungry because of the money you steal from them, I pray to God, cover his child. Well, I hope now when you hear my voice, because he's listening, he's on his phone, he's listening.
Yes.
He will bring my.
Well, you see, he told me to hold on, like he had something to do.
I can call you and tell him it's time to get forward. He paid me.
Yes. Well, I don't know how many other people out there, but Mr. Garth, you have 2 people. You clean by Friday. You're going to get them situated. We shall be holding you to that. Although we know that a person like you, your word doesn't mean anything, but we're going to still hold you to it. And I don't know where he works, but I tell you what, you know, I'm well aware that money talks and BS walks, as they say. And once we post him up on CMR and people start to know the operations that he's running through J&A Spectacular Services really isn't all that spectacular, he's going to start losing some money. Because you all, when you see people like this who do not believe in following the law, who are scamming people, their own country people, the poor Filipino guy and God knows who else, that he's taken money from and has not returned it, you need to stop giving them business. And I bet you he's going to wake up then.
I didn't want this for him because I realized, honest to God, I didn't want this to happen to him. I never did. Because I realized it would affect his business. And he has a child. And he has to eat.
Well, that's precisely why he must do the right thing.
But he should never have done what he's done. And not just to me, there are many. Oh, Lord. Anyway, God bless you, my love. Have a blessed day.
All right, my dear. Thank you very much. Appreciate
money
it.
For the requirements.
Ace, as you can see, you're not the only victim. And somehow I suspect that the 2 of you are not the only victims out there.
Well, not just me. He offered a job for my sister too. He told my sister that he's going to make her as her manager. And my sister processed already her requirements, but that was after me. So I told him to stop it.
So your sister didn't send him any money?
Yeah.
Wow.
He asked for $500, huh?
Wow.
And he's offering a job for managerial.
Keep scamming people. So Jean says, I have a small business, and while employees are asking for work and I start to ask where and who they're working for, I can tell you of about 9 persons doing this, including a pastor that is charging people. A pastor, Naina? Wow. I receive applicants daily. When I ask people who have their permits, they seem to be about 5 companies doing the same thing to many people, including a female pastor. There's also a Filipina running around paying companies to place fake work permits for Filipinos to get here. And then when they're here without work, I have all the details for these people and tend to take it to immigration because it's inhumane. Jane, send it to CMR while you're at it, please. Because we had outed a Filipino lady some time back. She ran just as Enforcement was about to go scoop her up. She left the jurisdiction. So somebody tipped her off, or, you know, maybe she heard it on our show, I guess, that we had our eye on you. So she jumped up and left. El Rey, you'll remember this situation because she reached out claiming, oh, no, tell Sandy I'm legitimate. I'm like, listen, no honest, legitimate person has to run from the truth. So if you are, you know, caught up in a situation, all you have to do is simply explain yourself. If it's the truth, it's the truth, and the truth will stand on its own 2 feet. But if you're lying and you're conniving and you're, you know, stealing from your own country people to the tune of thousands of dollars, you better run from Cayman and you better not come back here.
Ma'am, what I'm scared is that he has a friend in immigration.
He don't have no friends in immigration. Ace, listen to me. This man is a scammer, right? The police had him arrested is what my sources are telling me in WhatsApp. The police are trying to deal with him. You do not have anything to fear about him having people in immigration. That's the line that they pull on you to try to make you fearful so that you don't come on CMR, so that you don't report him to the authorities.
Yeah.
You need to work with the authorities so that they can arrest him again because he is stealing from people. This is a form of theft. So I don't want you, I can assure you that he knows nobody in immigration. Now, you know, I'm not always impressed with all of our immigration officers and whatever, but I believe that most of them that we have in there are just honest people trying to do the best that they can. They're not in cahoots with somebody like Garth. Don't make him fool you. He don't know nobody. If he knew anybody in immigration, he would have had your work permit approved. That's what he would have had done. Talking about he know people in immigration. He don't know nobody, child. But this is the foolishness that they do. So you hang tight, and I'm going to see what we can do. He claims by Friday he's going to get you the money back. We're going to put on a little bit of CMR pressure on him to ensure that he does that.
He told me today. He told me today.
He told you today.
Yeah, he said
and he told us Friday. So you know what that means. He not got our money today. Jonathan says it sounds like Cayman needs to consider a moratorium on the registration of janitorial businesses. DCI really needs to start putting some pressure on these people to even show that they have the required business for these work permits that they're taking out. Show some contracts and verify and call, because that's another scam. I know one woman was basically selling contracts. Who was telling me that story? I got to try and remember how that story go now. But she was basically selling contracts and pretending that she was giving contracts to another company for cleaning services, and they didn't exist. Y'all need to start digging a little bit deeper. You need to start asking for bank transactions, because if you got a contract, money must be coming into the bank for that contract. Show and follow the money trail. Stop having these Johnny-come-lately scammers be smarter than you guys over at Works and Immigration. Y'all need my help to fish out a scammer? You need me to help you to tell you how to do it? Come on now. Everything leaves a paper trail. And these scammers are leaving a big paper trail, but it's not going legitimately to the bank account. Time to rein this situation in. We continue to talk about this lawlessness. I wanted to talk about Cayman culture today, but I'm going to have to leave that until tomorrow. Because look at this. We've wasted an entire show talking about lack of enforcement. Lack of consideration for our laws in this country. We can't even get to talk about our culture and heritage because this is the foolishness that we are constantly having to entertain. Ace, you hang in there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Going forward, don't ever have anybody tell you that you need to pay for your own work permit. That's against the law.
Okay.
And anyone who tells you that, that means that they do not have legitimate work for you. Because if they had legitimate work for you, they would have money to be able to pay for your work permit. And then they're putting you in a bad situation where you're also breaking the law, which you should not be doing.
Yeah, well, I just accept that offer, ma'am, because it's really hard from the Philippines to...
I know people are desperate. Believe me, I understand.
Yeah.
There are desperate people right here in the Cayman Islands as well. But you can't allow your desperation to turn you into a criminal. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Because now look at what has happened. You've got in cahoots and in beds with somebody who is more of a criminal than anything. And now you, as hard as it is, it's going to be even harder with you now not having $1,000, which could be helping you and your family, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's really hard, man.
Believe me, I completely sympathize with your predicament, but you still have to make sure that you're doing things the right way, because, you know, now it's even harder, minus $1,000. And $1,000, I'm sure, is a lot of money in the Philippines.
It is big money.
Yeah. And now you owe half of that money to your friend here.
Yeah.
You know, that could negatively impact your relationship with him.
No. Yes.
Lessons learned, I hope. Folks, if you're listening to this program today and you find yourself, you know, in the position as Ace, do not fall for these people who are scamming you, promising you big time jobs. The Filipino lady, she'd taken $3,000 from someone in the Bahamas, claiming that she had worked for his daughter. You know, there's a lot of scammers around the place, and you have to just be very, very careful. So sad. All right, we'll try to put some pressure on Garth to see if you can get your money. But now that I know who he's affiliated with, his uncle, all I can tell you is they owe $22,000 to the government. So I don't know how much, and God knows how many other people not paying pension, all sorts of stuff they've been involved in. So only God knows, you know, if you'll ever see that money again. Yes, I mean, that's the reality, because if Garth doesn't have it, he just doesn't have it. And the uncle he's claiming is sick, he's on dialysis, he's this, he's that, blah, blah, blah. All sorts of excuses. He probably has Cineco now and relying on the Cayman Islands government to support him. Who knows? Really, really sad. This person says, greed for work permit revenue. Government loves easy money, and that's why this lawlessness continues. Unbelievable. Another person says the majority of these janitorial companies are charging these people money to take over their permit, and when they come out, they deduct the money from them being made here. They charge them a fee for taking out a work permit, and I cannot stress this enough that is absolutely against the law. You're not supposed to pay for your permit as the worker. Your employer's obligation is to pay for that permit, not yours. And if they ask you to reimburse them for it, you have to tell them no, and that you will report it to Immigration Works, CMR, the police, somebody. And here Remilia says, on top of that, they're cussing out people to pay them monthly and continually taking out permits. We took proof into immigration, and they claimed that they couldn't find her. Really?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ace.
So sad. Really
Please
sad.
keep us posted. I know you've been trying for months to get Garth to do the right thing. Maybe now he will finally wake up and do the right thing.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
We're going to make him big and bold on CMR this morning. And I think he's gotten the picture loud and clear that he better shape up.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you too. I appreciate it. Yeah. Now, folks, it took a lot for Ace to come on the program, because he was supposed to come on last week. I don't know if you guys remembered me saying this. And at the last minute, he chickened out. He got scared because Garth is telling him, oh, he got contacts in immigration. Garth is a first-rate liar. Don't let these people hoodwink you. Seriously. He don't know who you know up in immigration, Garth. Stop sullying our immigration's reputation even more. You don't know nobody up in there. Nobody can help you up in immigration. This kind of ridiculousness has got to stop. And there's different elements to it, right? So the workers need to know their rights. They need to stop falling as easy prey. I think it was Miss Darlene that said about the fact that, oh gosh, Darlene, where did I read that? God tells us not to be stupid. Well, some of us he gave common sense to. I think some of y'all missed out in that line when he was handing out common sense. But when it comes to this, you know that it is against the law. Do not listen. If you see somebody willing to breach the immigration law and have you working and they taking the permit fee back from you, whatever, if they're going to do that, you know you're not dealing with an honest person. And so one day that lack of integrity, that lack of honesty is going to impact you as well. Don't allow them to, do this to you. And this means that you have got to be a little bit smarter. My goodness. Hear the man say $1,000 is hard to find. Listen, that's hard to find for any of us right now. Some people are making that in a month. And Garth has taken that like nobody's business and refusing to pay the man back. Ms. Brenda says CBC needs to start charging people who are paying for their own work permit. They know it's illegal too. Perhaps this will discourage some of this madness. Well, the problem with that methodology is that they'll never catch the people who are actually the employers who are actually doing it, because victims like Ace are not going to come forward because he is afraid that he will be charged and prosecuted. So it's like, who do you go after, the prostitute or the pimp, the drug addict or the drug user? Sometimes you have to choose to go after the bigger fish in order to be able to curtail this situation. Because if Garth has done it to Ace and this other lady, I think she said her name was Miss Faith, how many more people you think he has not done it to? And they all need to come forward so that Works can build a case against Garth and charge him. Him and the uncle should both be charged. Of course, that uncle got claimed he don't know nothing about it. So sometimes you forgo going after the victim in order to get the victim's cooperation so that you can go after the real pariah, the Garths of the world. Too much of this is happening in the Cayman Islands, and it's people like, I don't know what Garth's status is. He claimed, or he wouldn't really tell us about his PR status or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, folks, if he has PR, strip that from him. Okay? We don't want any more Caymanians being criminals. And this is the problem that we're having. Johnny come latelys want to do all the foolishness they do in their country and benefit from people's hard earn money here in the Cayman Islands. We got to stamp it out. I'm telling y'all, we got to stamp it out. Speaking of France Manderson, I want to say this. A lot of people say to me that France needs to go back to immigration because they're like, listen, when France was there, this kind of foolishness didn't go on. This wasn't happening. Enforcement was on it. Now, I don't know. I suppose back then we also didn't have as many criminals running around the place. It's probably easier to catch them. But France kind of ruled with an iron fist when he was in charge of immigration and enforcement. And we need to bring that kind of situation back. Okay? That's what we need in this country. So whatever is required to make that happen, can we please get on it? Somebody? Anyway, folks, I've gone into overtime, and I do believe I'm supposed to be at some event this morning for the CTO thing. So allow me to make my way to that. Tomorrow is, what day is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Tuesday. So we have Health City that's going to be joining us. I don't know what their topic is. I think I need to check my email on that. And then we also have, we also have, the thing at 3:00, which we're going to try to live stream from the Legislative Assembly. So there's a lot going on this week. It's a super, super busy week. We will try our best to keep you updated with all of it. And that's all we can do. So thank you once again, folks, for tuning into the program. Thank you also to people like Ace who are bringing these issues to the forefront, because honestly, we definitely need to be addressing these issues in our community. And if it takes putting them on CMR for it to come to the forefront and something finally be done about it, then it is what it is. If it takes embarrassing Ace and calling him jackass of the day to, get this man his money back, get Miss Faith her money back, then I make no apologies for that. It is what it is. Garth, you shady little thing hanging up the phone on me this morning. I don't care. Just pay the people back their money. If you have to go borrow it, don't steal it now from nobody else. But if you have to go borrow it, if you have to ask your uncle for it, I don't care how you find the money. Find the money, because we will embarrass you and your uncle and make sure y'all never get another cleaning contract. Are we crystal clear this Monday morning, September the 12th, on how this is going to work out for you all? It's not going to be good. Folks, have yourselves a beautiful morning. Time for us to get to work around here. Be safe, and tomorrow, make sure you tune in at 7:30 a.m.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's #1 talk show.
Hello, I'm Kevin Watler, and this is your CMR Daily Buzz. As the Cayman Islands joins in a period of national mourning in honor of her late Queen Elizabeth II, this royal tradition has raised the question of what it means to mourn. Traditionally, the Queen's death would have triggered a 12-day mourning period, but King Charles III has requested an extension, with the mourning period lasting until 7 days after her late Queen Elizabeth's funeral on September 19th. The day of Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's state funeral will be declared a public holiday in the Cayman Islands. Be sure to monitor CMR's Facebook page and website for the latest update. The Miss World Cayman Islands organization has announced that the 4th edition of the Miss World Cayman pageant, which was scheduled to be held on Saturday, September 17th, has been postponed due to the passing of the United Kingdom's longest-serving monarch, Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The pageant has been rescheduled to Saturday, September 24th at the Hartwell Theatre, starting at 7 p.m. and cocktails at 6 p.m. The Department of Environmental Health is calling on food business operators and food handlers to register for the upcoming food hygiene training as classes resume on September 14th. Training sessions will be held on Wednesdays between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Grand Cayman. However, training days may differ for the sister islands. Upon completion of their medical school training overseas, dentist Dr. Tammy Parry and emergency medicine consultant Dr. Brandon Bernard returned to the Health Services Authority to work alongside their mentors who encouraged them to pursue their dreams. Dr. Parry began her career journey at HSA in 2010 when she took a hiatus from dental school in Panama to work at HSA. In 2012, she completed her dental surgical assistant diploma and moved to the dental department. After deciding to complete her dental degree, she gained acceptance to the School of Oral Health Sciences at the University of Technology in Jamaica. She completed her studies this year, becoming a doctor in medical dentistry, and began her profession as a dentist at HSA. Dr. Bernard is also no stranger to the HSA, having been the first Caymanian intern to complete the medical internship program at HSA from 2013 to 2014. After completing his first degree in medicine, he worked as a doctor at the HSA from 2015 to 2017. In 2021, he completed his emergency medicine residency and Doctor of Medicine degree in emergency medicine in Jamaica. He then returned home to rejoin the HSA as the second Caymanian emergency medicine consultant physician. The Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage has welcomed Melanie Bryan Way as the new head of the Youth Services Unit. She has had an extensive career as an educator and intervention service specialist. She is a teacher by profession, and Mrs. Bryan Way has spent nearly 3 decades working with young people in the classroom as a senior school leader, program facilitator, and adult training specialist. Now for your CMR weather update, it's brought to you by WG Charters. Sunrise at 6:12, partly cloudy skies. The temperature rises to the high 80s, and when the high temperature is at 88 degrees Fahrenheit and the relative humidity is at 73% like the forecast calls for, the temperature will around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds east-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and the sun sets at 6:30. At nighttime, the temperature falls to the low 80s. Looking forward, rain chances will go up for the next couple days. Otherwise, similar weather conditions are expected. Remember, it's summertime, so those hot days and warm nights and scattered showers are very typical for this time of year. CMR weather updates are brought to you by WG Charters. They offer private boat trips for a great price, so we encourage you to support them. Now for some regional and international news. A new United Nations report has warned that at the current rate, Latin America and the Caribbean will not achieve the education goals set by the UN's 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The report emphasized that the targets will not be met without a change in the direction of policies and resource allocation for education. Greece's government has written to the country's NATO and European Union partners and the head of the United Nations, asking them to formally condemn increasingly aggressive talk by officials in neighboring Turkey and suggesting that current bilateral tensions could escalate into a second open conflict on European soil. Greece and Turkey have come close to war 3 times in the last half-century. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un stressed his country will never abandon the nuclear weapons it needs to counter the United States, which he accused of pushing to weaken the North Korea's defenses and eventually collapse his government, state media said on Friday. Kim made the comments during a speech Thursday at North Korea's rubber-stamped parliament, where members passed legislation governing the use of nuclear weapons, which Kim described as a step to cement the country's nuclear status and make clear such weapons will not be bargained. That's it for now on the Daily Buzz. Thank you for joining me. Please stay safe and God bless.